The owner of Golden Grown. I started a hemp farm in Sierra Valley, California for my autistic daughter, Elena, and my CBD is 100% organic. The difference between THC and CBD is all natural. It's 100% organic. THC is mind-altering. That's not what Golden Grown sells. Golden Grown sells an experience of an organic, natural supplement to make you relax. One of our best sellers is a CBD oral strip. It is absolutely amazing. 100% organic, FDA approved. You take a strip out, you put it on your tongue, it dissolves in your mouth, and it's total relaxation, stress reliever in about 20 minutes. I wouldn't sell something to you that I wouldn't personally have in my own home. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Grown's Bake and Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB pizza. Hey, how you doing? I'm Nico Christides, the owner of Golden Grown, and my CBD is 100% organic. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Grown's Bake and Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB pizza. The owner of Golden Grown. I started a hemp farm in Sierra Valley, California for my autistic daughter, Elena, and my CBD is 100% organic. The difference between THC and CBD is all natural. It's 100% organic. THC is mind-altering. That's not what Golden Grown sells. Golden Grown sells an experience make you relax. One of our best sellers is a CBD oral strip. It is absolutely amazing. 100% organic, FDA approved. You take a strip out, you put it on your tongue, it dissolves in your mouth, and it's total relaxation, stress reliever in about 20 minutes. I wouldn't sell something to you that I wouldn't personally have in my own home. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Groans Bake and Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza. The owner of Golden Grown, and my CBD is 100% organic. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Groans Bake and Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza. The owner of Golden Grown. I started a hemp farm in Sierra Valley, California for my autistic daughter, Elena, and my CBD is 100% organic. The difference between THC and CBD is all natural. It's 100% organic. THC is mind-altering. That's not what Golden Grown sells. Golden Grown sells an experience of an organic, natural supplement to make you relax. One of our best sellers is a CBD oral strip. It is absolutely amazing. 100% organic, FDA approved. You take a strip out, you put it on your tongue, it dissolves in your mouth, and it's total relaxation, stress reliever in about 20 minutes. I wouldn't sell something to you that I wouldn't personally have in my own home. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Groans Bake and Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza. CBD is 100% organic. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Groans Bacon Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza. The owner of Golden Grown. I started a hemp farm in Sierra Valley, California for my autistic daughter, Elena, and my CBD is 100% organic. The difference between THC and CBD is all natural. It's 100% organic. THC is mind-altering. That's not what Golden Grown sells. Golden Grown sells an experience of an organic, natural supplement to make you relax. One of our best sellers is a CBD oral strip. It is absolutely amazing. 100% organic, FDA approved. You take a strip out, you put it on your tongue, it dissolves in your mouth, and it's total relaxation, stress reliever in about 20 minutes. I wouldn't sell something to you that I wouldn't personally have in my own home. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Groans Bacon Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza. The owner of Golden Grown, and my CBD is 100% organic. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Groans Bacon Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza. California for my autistic daughter, Elena, and my CBD is 100% organic. The difference between THC and CBD is all natural. It's 100% organic. THC is mind-altering. That's not what Golden Grown sells. Golden Grown sells an experience of an organic, natural supplement to make you relax. One of our best sellers is a CBD oral strip. It is absolutely amazing. 100% organic, FDA approved. You take a strip out, you put it on your tongue, it dissolves in your mouth, and it's total relaxation, stress reliever in about 20 minutes. I wouldn't sell something to you that I wouldn't personally have in my own home. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Grown's Bake and Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza.
Instagram, YouTube, Station.
The owner of Golden Grown, and my CBD is 100% organic. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Grown's Bake and Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza. The owner of Golden Grown. I started a hemp farm in Sierra Valley, California for my autistic daughter, Elena, and my CBD is 100% organic. The difference between THC and CBD is all natural. It's 100% organic. THC is mind-altering. That's not what Golden Grown sells. Golden Grown sells an experience of an organic, natural supplement to make you relax. One of our best sellers is a CBD oral strip. It is absolutely amazing. 100% organic, FDA approved. You take a strip out, you put it on your tongue, it dissolves in your mouth, and it's total relaxation, stress reliever in about 20 minutes. I wouldn't sell something to you that I wouldn't personally have in my own home. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Grown's Bake and Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza.
All right, well, if I'm talking over your commercial, I do apologize, but we are getting ready to head into the top 32 battles here. It looks like we're going to have 4 battles to finish up in top 32 to round off and find out who is moving forward of those 2 drivers, of the 4 drivers, what 2 are moving forward into top 16.
Yeah, finally it's the time. Finally, it's the time of the day we've been looking forward to all day long, to be able to watch these drivers after they've locked in their qualifying score, put down good tandem runs, get as close to each other as possible, and hopefully walk away with the win today.
Coming up, we got the bracket here. They are warming up in the burnout box. It looks like we are going to see a Ryan Kaufman and Davey Peoples. Am I reading this bracket correctly? How did we switch modes? How did we switch things? I thought you had that in your pocket.
I just grabbed it off the table when I got that. Thank you once again to our sponsors.
Sorry for you guys on the live stream seeing us. We are over here looking at the bracket, just trying to confirm some stuff, working on some technical things here.
Test, 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 test.
Well, and they're off. Leading in with the lead run here, we're going to have Ryan, and he's got a big difference between Davey Peoples trying to catch up here, trying to close in that proximity, but oh my goodness! Looks like the lead car straightened out there. They're going to go ahead and complete their run here into this second outer zone. Davey trying to hunt in on some proximity and get something close. Both getting the touch and go, coming around for the outer zone. Davey reeled him in finally here with that last charge.
Unfortunately, a big mistake right there by Ryan Kaufman. Unfortunately, that's going to give the other driver the big advantage as they go into the second run of this battle. I mean, anything can happen, but that's a pretty tough situation to come back from. Ultimately, the best thing he can do is just try to put pressure on the driver on the next run and hope he can force a mistake as well.
Absolutely. It's going to make a huge difference there. You know, it's a great spot for Davey, though. Davey's in a comfortable position knowing that he needs to just throw down a nice, clean lead run, nothing too crazy, stay on track, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to deliver on that.
Yeah, and this is one of the great benefits of having spotters out here. When you have a good spotter that can kind of walk you through what happened for each run, and they kind of advise you as stuff that you can't see, because as a driver, you're just looking ahead of you. You're trying to put your car in all the right places. Your spotter can see everything you can't see and advise you on what the next strategy is going into the next run. So in this case, I'd be saying, you know, look, Ryan made a mistake. Take it easy. Just get moving forward. You don't want to put all your aggression down just in the first run of your top 32 battle.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the nice things, obviously, since it was a lead-follow situation, he was able to see the mistake. But where those spotters come in insanely important is when you're in the lead position, you do not look at that car behind you. At no point are you thinking, oh, what's the guy behind me doing? Unless he's on your door pushing you in, you don't want to feel his pressure. You don't want to even think about it. You're just there putting down a lead run like he's there or not.
So they're now heading back to the start line to go ahead and go again. There will be no tire changing or anything of that sort. They're just going to go ahead and line back up and go for the second run now.
I think I just have that much more of a voice that I was having to throw at it. That's what I was saying. I was like, we need to fix this because I'm going to lose my voice.
Yeah, I don't have a boomy voice. I can't do it. I'll play with all of them at this point. Test, 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 test. Test, test, test.
Oh, is that it?
Test, test.
That's it.
All right.
Sorry, we're playing with the microphones here. Do you want to go ahead and try that one out again?
All right, I think that was a better run. I think we're doing a little bit better on the volume here. Just having a little bit of trouble. Now looking at it, these are 2 drivers who, again, are really seasoned. Both of them have experience on this track with different chassis. So I think that watching the lineup between these two cars is going to be really interesting. It looks like there's definitely a huge power difference, but they're both going to need to just play it easy and simple and not beat themselves up too much about the results. They just need to keep their calm. This is a long season. They need to get well, not a super long season, of course. It's only a few rounds.
What, 4 rounds, right?
Yeah, 4 rounds
4
only,
rounds.
But remember that it's a marathon, not a sprint, so they just need to go ahead and play it by ear.
Yeah, and the winner of these battle is going to be going against our number 1 qualifier, Lee Yearwood, as he's on a bye run right now for the 32. So going into 16, we've got these 2 battles that'll put in our 16 bracket, and then we have our top 16.
Very nice.
And they're lined up. Judges are giving the thumbs up. And we're going to switch positions. Obviously, if you're new to drifting, one car is going to have a lead run, one car is going to have a follow run, and then they switch places. They're going to be judging lead versus lead, follow versus follow. And let's go ahead and watch what happens here with Davey in that lead. A lot closer than Davey's follow. He's trying to put the pressure and prove to the judges why, trying to make some pressure happen so Davey makes a mistake, and it doesn't look like Davey's going to let him have it. Taking a little bit more of an inside eye, being a little bit more conservative, but all he needs to do is have a solid non-zero run here, and he will be walking away with a win. Hitting that last clipping zone and going into the outer zone, they're going to be watching for those tires, and he is in. Makes the judge's job very easy, and that's one thing that we talked about multiple times today. We don't want it to come down to the judging. Don't let it come to the judges. Show it, make it happen, and prove that you are the winner.
Yeah, I mean, he could have even been more conservative than that if he wanted to, but he just went out there, he drove, he put down a really good would make a great qualifying run as a lead run, and that right there is going to be the reason that I think this is going to be an easy decision for the judges.
Well, absolutely. I mean, with a 0 in the first position, no follow for them to judge against because it was interrupted by a lead run, you know, it's already a decision that's made. But we're not the judges, so we don't get to say that. We don't get to make the decision. We just get to wait for them to point by. Davies Peoples getting to move on. The People's champ hopefully moving on. Baby Denofa moves on to the top 16.
So unfortunate to see that with Ryan Kaufman leaving us early on, but awesome to see the Taxi Garage guys out there. If he's going to be chilling at his pit area for the rest of the day, definitely recommend going over there, checking out the Taxi Garage booth. They also have a lot of cool gear, a lot of swag, and a lot of content online. You definitely want to follow them. They're always posting these awesome montages where they themselves, they represent their product so well because they don't just sell it. They go out there and they make viral videos of them just tearing it up with their friends.
I mean, it's a phenomenal time. You were thinking about going ahead and getting one here soon. I know you haven't gotten the chance to ride in one yet. I've got tons of seat time in them, and I cannot wait to purchase one. I'm going to get not the XL, which is what I thought originally. I know I'm a big guy, 6'3", but I don't know. I can fit in Miatas. I can fit in the tiny cart. You know, it's fine. At least that'll fit in the trunk of the car, you know?
Yeah, it's funny because even though they seem like they're a lot of fun, most of the people prefer the smaller one. They make the adult one, but it seems like most of the people are modifying the smaller one, so they've always got their knees up high looking like a rotisserie chicken while they're just out there drifting. But if it's fun and I want to be part of it, then I'm probably going to end up buying one too.
Can't wait. Maybe next time we'll both have them and we can just, you know, commentate while we're spinning around in circles out here. So I did.
Was it because I was standing too close to it though? Because I'm talking really close to it.
This one, right?
I think so, yeah. It was that one, yeah. All right. And now we have our next run getting ready to go.
I know on camera you guys are getting us to watch us play with the microphones. I don't know if you can tell this one's a little loud. Let me do this real quick. It was just... How's that for you?
How gentlemanly of you.
Yeah, I mean, now his voice is louder than mine somehow. I think that they purposely handed me the dumb mic. They were just like, Dustin's loud enough. Let's just go ahead and take it down.
It's for the exciting moments. It's an exciting buffer.
Yeah, at no point would he have asked to switch mics with me, but I have no problem doing it for you, bud.
Thank you very much.
On camera, it looks so funny. It's just such a weird...
gets right out of one machine and starts tending to another. And next thing you know, there's an entire giveaway going on at his pit area. So Drift HQ doesn't just show up and make sure they're there in attendance. A lot of times they make sure that they're interacting with the rest of the community, even whether they know you or not. They're just really happy to be interacting with as many people as possible.
He's truly a smoke daddy, which is what his company name is, and he's cooked some of the best picanha I've ever had in my life. I'm learning more Portuguese just so I can communicate with him better, you know, because I love him dearly. So to those that fala português, tudo bom, tudo bem?
He just wants to get his food first, so he never has to worry about food running out.
See. Too bad the audio is probably off for all of that, 'cause that was great.
So the judges are still looking over this run. So we have a couple of different tools here. So we actually have 4 different camera angles the judges are taking a look at. We had a little bit of technical difficulty getting our drone working. Now we have full access to the drone. So the judges are using this drone technology across the globe now, not just here for our series, but it's become a monumental tool for Formula Drift. It's become a tool overseas. So very happy to have that here in this series as well, because it gives us a really good overview of how these cars are doing on filling out the zones. And so their ability to be able to forward, rewind, and just keep doing instant replays on that, it allows them to make sure they're making important calls. So while waiting isn't always super convenient, the drivers are happy when a fair call is made, and with so much on the line, we need to make sure those calls are accurate.
Well, the judges are deliberating. That's what we're looking at right now, and it's really amazing what this sport has gotten to evolve in with technology coming through, and I believe helping the sport, because you have drivers in the past going, no, I know where I was, you know, I know where the car positioning was, I know I saw him go off or stay on, whatever it is, and now we have an eye in the sky that can say, oh, well, here it is, you know, and it's in the film, you know.
Yeah, it's caught in 4K, and in every single sense. Even the cameras themselves. I remember the first drones; they were really cool, but not even really worth it. They couldn't 720p quality. They couldn't really fly that fast. Now you've got drones that are so capable they could even, you know, give the driver a kiss on the cheek, fly inside the car, come back out, catch it all in 4K, and then play it on replay and stream it instantly. So very excited for where that's going. We even got a lot of people who have a reputation just in drone flying in the drift scene, and we see that a lot. If you go out to OSW, you come out to an event like this, there's just people with their own drones, full Instagram pages.
Well, we've got Fly Days out here right now, which we love to hear and see. They've been out there sponsoring and helping so many drivers, and honestly, it helps you get your deck sorted. Imagine just having that extra view to give to potential sponsors or to give your social media presence a boost. You know, if you guys don't know this, by the way, everybody out there that's listening, if anybody gives you media, it took them time to do it. You need to thank them, and sometimes that means financially. Don't be afraid to go ahead and support those that are supporting you.
Yeah, and a lot of times those photographers even that show up at drift events, they take amazing photos. And it's gotten to the point now, I mean, when I was younger and drifting was at really, really grassroots, and we were all didn't have money to pay for photos, it was a little bit tougher.
Well, we got our answer there. Corvette moving forward.
There we go. So, yep, Corvette's moving on. Let's get a driver name on that one. Yes, that was Eric doing a great job driving. Again, he was someone that competed in the series last season, so happy to see him out here, already making dominant moves closer towards the podium and further up the rankings in the overall leaderboard for the championship.
Yeah, so we have 4 battles. I misspoke about the 2 battles earlier. I, for some reason, thought it was only 2, so I went to the other side of the bracket. But yeah, we have 4 battles, it looks like, to go through. Everybody else is on a bye, or maybe even 5. Moving forward. So now we're looking at a Tyler Hess and John Temple coming in to go ahead and see who's going to get into the top 16. Hearing the revving from the Corvette there, excited to move forward. Getting into that top 16 is a very coveted position. As you see on the camera right now, you're looking at the staging area. The burn box is right behind where they're going to do the warming of their tires. And then after that, they're going to line up. And we are using a light tree system that will give them a red light up top, a red light up bottom, and then flash. And it will tell them to go.
Yeah, and even the way that cars have started in a tandem battle has changed throughout the years. In Formula Drift, they introduced the chicane not too long ago, which meant that the lead driver would always have a little bit of a slower start, and they also made the rule that the chase driver can start rolling whenever they want to let that happen. So that's a very similar rules to what we have here as far as the lead driver not being able to do a false start, but the chase driver can kind of start rolling or do whatever it needs to do to make sure he's in close in proximity. Really not being too far away from the lead car at the very beginning of the run is a huge difference in how the outcome is. So when it was originally just a drag race to the first corner, it didn't make out for really good competitions. And now even in this, we're seeing at least these cars are staying within just a couple car lengths of each other.
Yeah, no, it makes a huge difference. And we're starting to see in competition where if they know that the person hasn't been flicking out or having, you know, that Manji style entrance and they're just hard e-braking in with a little thing, you're seeing them almost sideways next to them and then transitioning in to where you're just on stack. So I'm getting the okay from the judges here, and looks like both cars and both competitors are ready and rolling up to the line. Both warmed their tires. Let's go ahead and send it. What do you guys think? Let's do it, she says. So start your engines. Let's go. Coming up, Tyler Hess and John Temple. That flick entrance that I was telling you about, and then grabbing that handbrake to prevent that straight in there. Getting it nice wide in the zones, both of them. Nice pressure coming in from the back. Little bit of a charge, the vet steering away, but then a surge to come into the outer zone too. Trying to find it, cutting the line to get in his proximity. Both of them going for the touch and go, filling the outer zone. He wants the Corvette. He aims for the Corvette and tries to get it, and he was as close as possible. And what a charging follow. What more could you ask for? Maybe a little more consistency, a little bit more stack on, but the surges were where they needed to be. The vet broke away from him, and he put the hammer down to catch up. I mean, it's what you need to do.
Yeah, both those cars carry a good amount of grip, and they have very similar power plants, both V8s, very torquey setup. So what I like to see there is the matchup, and I'm hoping that now, seeing that they are so similar as far as how quickly their cars accelerate when they get on the throttle, then in this next road we might see even a little bit more proximity. I definitely think he could have been a little bit more aggressive. I don't think he realized how much the vet was going to go ahead and clear the corners as quick. So I would have liked to see him commit a little bit more on those surges. But other than that, I mean, that's a great run. And for a Pro-Am series to go ahead and get started that way this early on is awesome.
Judges reviewing some film here on that instant replay, just like you guys are, and bringing up some valid questions and something that I noticed as well, and we're going to see how that affects on the scores.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is some of these corrections obviously carry a lot more weight than others. And so there's some of the ones that we're really trying to get away from are really late initiations, double entries, understeering, plowing. These are all things that take you out of drift technically, and they can be constituted as a zero. So
they absolutely can, and it's going to make it hard for that follow driver to stay with them. Unlike this, where that initiation comes in and he's able to stick right with them, both of them putting the power down, both trying to fill in that zone, coming around. That lead car driver looking to surge as far as he can, and he does, surging into the second zone, coming around. The vet answers with his own, coming around, taking that inside line. Cars side by side, the vet with a little bit of a hesitation on his transition there, but coming around ultimately with a great chase and lead.
That was great. That's exactly what I wanted to see, especially after watching the first run. I'm hoping that the spotter was letting him know, like, just so you guys know, this is a good match. You guys can both go full throttle, so assume he's going to, and you do your part. And that looked great. You'd almost assume those guys had tons of years of experience driving together. They were exactly on the same wavelength. I think that's a great run, and it made both the lead and the chase driver look good. So the judges are going to really have to pick this one apart.
Yeah, I think what's the thing that's going to really answer the question isn't just in the end of it and what they were doing during, But at the beginning, with that big double entry that we were talking about and him forcing the understeer and stuff, I think also they're going to bring in that hesitation for the transition where the vet re-grabbed over. He had tons of space to bring that front over. He just wanted to re-grab that line so that he could charge back in and get proximity. It's not really what you're looking to see as a judge, but ultimately they're going to make a decision here. We're going to wait for that point real quick so it's on camera. John Temple wins in the Jackson Performance car here. That was on that, and it really came down to, I believe, that first initiation from the Corvette. Both great drivers, and I'm excited to see them later in this series continue to grow and honestly just be some of the best battles we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate when you have to see two good drivers where obviously someone has to get knocked out when they get pinned against each other. I think both of them had potential to go much further into this competition tonight, especially when you take a look at what the full bracket is. These are drivers who were doing an extremely good job in practice. I think that both of them could have done a little bit better just then, but I really do hope that no matter what happens with either of those drivers, we'll see them back for round 2.
Absolutely. And with that being said, it's updated on our bracket here. Now we're going to move up, and we are going to see William and Marcelo. So we got Willie, which I was talking about earlier. If you don't remember, I was talking about his fuel issues. We're in the burnout box. It's unfortunate because there's a tent and trailer that I can't see over there, so it's hard to see the staging, so I have to check the paper.
Now, if you're just now joining us, too, so if this FD is about to roll out here, I mean, if you haven't seen this car before on Instagram or at any other events and you're just watching on the stream, this car looks absolutely beautiful, and what you're seeing on the stream just doesn't do it justice. It is an absolute work of art, and I'm very curious to know how aggressive he's going to be comfortable driving it.
So I have a judge telling me that's not a trailer, that black stacker is an ice cream truck. Interesting information. Now we've got Willie going in. Big initiation on both these guys, plowing in. Oh my gosh. And it looks like Willie going through just didn't have the speed that the follow car thought he was going to have there. And instead of crashing into him to use him as a brake, he decided to let the rear end out and go. Willie needed to stay together, though. And I believe that he put 2 over. I don't know if you guys got lucky enough to see the fire. There is leftover tire and stuff like that gets lit up from everything. So.
Yeah, that was tough. It looked like the driver just had to make the call right there to bail, because from where I was standing, it almost looked like that was guaranteed contact about to take place. So at some level, when you get to that degree, it's possible to try and land it and make it a reverse entry and get some style points.
Yeah, well, we have a $5 bounty on a backy, you know, so maybe
so
he was
close.
attempting that. I don't know. But I don't know if that's going to be considered a checkup. I really don't think that it was. I don't think he's actively looking to get his car rammed into. But I just think that he put in a little bit too much power, came in a little hot, and looked at least with the replay that I'm seeing.
Yeah, and honestly, taking a look at what was going on in that run, even in the moment, you know, it just looked like you're always constantly going to be anticipating what the lead car is going to do. So if you're anticipating the lead car is going to be out of the way and so to a certain depth of the corner, you've got to just commit. And then unfortunately, if you calculate that wrong and you're really gripped up, then you're left in that exact situation of either try and catch it or bail. And in this decision, it looks like in this case, he decided to save his car. So the judge is looking that over. They're just going to make sure there's nothing funny going on. Of course, this is the hardest part of the track for us to see. So the judges have the access to that drone footage, but from where we're sitting up here on the right side of the course, that is the most difficult area to get an idea of how deep into the corner they were and how close they were into that outside zone. So the drone really becomes the only tool for making decisions on that part of the track.
They're actually getting to see the drone on the replay now, which is nice. It's the same thing that I was just seeing, that you were just seeing. When I do rewatch it, I do see a pump there, but I mean, it's him trying to go out. I don't think he's trying to check up to have somebody mess up behind him. But I mean, again, who knows what the driver's doing? It's just I don't think that that's what happened, in my personal opinion. But again, I'm not the judge, and my words mean zero and hold no weight.
Well, and these are the types of controversies you ultimately can only really address them in drivers' meetings. And we've seen a couple rule changes with the introduction of acceleration zones, deceleration zones, and FD, basically saying that we'll allow to a certain extent for deceleration to happen within these areas, but past that point, we expect you to be fully on throttle. So not just how much you slow down, but where throughout that turn you throw down is a big factor, and even where that took place was almost right where you'd be expected to get back on throttle. So that's going to be something for the judges to take a look at as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen tons of drivers, though, doing that same correction, but it wasn't as obvious or even a thing to be worried about because they didn't have such a committed follow or a chase behind them. You know, he put it all in. He was like, I'm going to show up right now. I want to win this on the first battle. Let me go ahead and have my chase be phenomenal, and then I have an easy run on my lead. You know, he was trying to show that he wanted the win.
Yeah, now, now, of course, obviously, the judges have the information. They have their opinions, but at this point, we're halfway through a battle. So the spotter and the driver don't know what the judges' opinions are going to be. So if I'm in his position, I'm thinking, now, apply pressure, again, try to force a mistake. And this happens a lot, actually, where one person will get a 0, and then in the right position in the second run, they can actually put tremendous pressure on the other driver, and next thing you know, they're clunking around, they're making their own mistakes, and they pull out a double 0 and force them to go one more time.
So Marcelo did call a 5-minute. And we're going to go ahead and obviously revisit this battle then. But we are going to move on, obviously, because we don't want to sit here idly any longer than we already have. We've got our track worker finishing up the track here, and we are getting our other cars that are already on grid into the burn box. What do you think he's calling the 5 minutes for? Do you think the car got damaged, or do you think he's looking to review everything? Or
yeah, we were just talking about how that's the part of the track that we really can't see. So it almost, to me, it looked like he had just narrowly avoided collision, but it's also very possible that maybe there was collision, or maybe the reason he over-rotated is because as he came in on that entry, maybe he heard something snap, and the next thing he knew, the car rotated around him more than he expected. We do have someone out there in the field that's always trying to get some interviews, so hopefully we can get someone over there with a camera and get an idea of what's going on during that 5-minute break. And in the meantime, we'll hopefully have that as later content for you. But really aggressive. Those are two really aggressive drivers. Both of those cars look absolutely beautiful, and it looks like they get grip in a little bit of different areas.
Because we have so many lines, I just wanted to clarify before I say something. So one thing, obviously, I'm not sure if I almost mentioned it on the thing, but I didn't want to say anything before it was wrong, because we do have these white lines here from other races, and then we have our white line. I did see him go over with 2 to 3 tires, and I just wanted to confirm that that would obviously be, we already talked about 2 tires is an out, which is a 0, which means they both zeroed.
Yeah, and that's an interesting one, because we've also seen a development of rule changes, because it used to be at one point, whether it's grassroots or FD, that, oh, once there's a 0, that runs over. Or other times it's been like, okay, well, no, the other drivers still should have a responsibility to finish out the rest of the run.
Especially in a lead position.
Exactly.
If they did not impede you in any way and you are unable to complete your run, you did not complete your run. So that double zeroed.
Yeah, and you can assume that that kind of mistake from the chase driver, like you said, it wouldn't impede you. So theoretically, that same 0 would have happened on the lead driver.
I mean, we're 2 outside zones away for his to go over, you know. And I almost said it, and I just wanted to clarify before I did. I didn't want to misspeak or mislead. So, yeah, I mean, and one thing that I also want to say is they are absolutely coming in for guns here on this touch and go. They're all doing a great job getting here. But look at the difference in attempts. Like, when you guys get a pan on this, if you want to look at that real quick, I don't know if it's on us, but look at how many different lines there are going into that touch and go. All those black marks all the way over. You can see where he smudged the white line over there. That's what I'm talking about, where he double zeroed from. But the video director is not showing what I'm talking about, but we are about to see them take off from the position here. Coming on out, we moved on to our next one, which was going to be Nathaniel and Daniel coming around, and 2 cars, honestly, that are factually underdogs. You've got the G and you've got the Mustang with not as much angle and the G with not as much power. We've seen that the G can do it, and really it's showing that it can. It is keeping up and coming in. going a little wide into the touch and go, and coming around to the final zone and putting everything he can into it. And no! He stuffs it with a phenomenal follow and just at the end oversent it and rotated instead of crashing in. He put on the brakes and lost his, his wheel speed.
What a position to end up beating yourself up for, too, because you're right there. You know you're about to try and do something gangster and really pull up right there at the end.
He was doing great. He was doing great.
Exactly. And you want to get on the door right at the end of the cone. You wanted to be pushing him across that finish line. And, at this point, unfortunately, that's going to be a big mistake. But who knows? We have one of our judges here, a fellow Infinity driver. Maybe he'll be biased, but I'm pretty sure he'll be fair.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think that the car thing's going on any difference. I think I'm the only biased one here saying that Ryan Aceveto's White Z looks great because White Z's look great. But, yeah, they're reviewing the thing, and I think that we're commenting on almost everything that they're noticing, too. There is the bobbles and such that I'm rewatching here. But, I mean, it's him trying to find the angle, and he goes in, and he just...
Well, and this is a big part of track memorization as well, because it's just white lines pointed on the ground. So if you're following another car and you don't have in your head how quick and how tight that last corner is, then I think we see a result quite like this. I don't think it was just an effort to surge as much as it was thinking he was going to be carrying the same momentum and the lead car wasn't going to slow down, forgetting just how tight that last corner is. And you're looking through the other car to look at that white line, so you really have to do it just off of memory.
I mean, you can expect somebody to be accelerating, but in reality, he didn't break up. He didn't do anything. He just can't have that power because he was going to go over the line. He knew that he needed to slow his wheel speed down to have that forward grip forward and not get that end Q and throw a tire over. So, I mean, with that being said, he ran into it. He chose not to run into the car. That was his choice.
Yeah, and he couldn't see the white line through the car, so that's not his fault.
Nope, you can't. But, I mean, also, most of the time when you're driving, if you're not on top of somebody, your muscle memory. I'm driving into smoke half the time I'm driving.
Nope.
And you're just trusting your muscle memory and trusting that the car in front of you isn't spinning.
That's why even when you show up to an event like this, especially if you don't have a lot of track time on the course, you just got to get as many runs in practice as possible.
Yep. Well, here we go on it. Seeing that there was a zero there, he's got a lot to do, and the follow is probably going to be very conservative, which is what I'm seeing right now. The lead putting the work in. Follow deciding to charge in here, though, finding that angle to get in. We're going to see him try to surge. He is trying to straighten as much as he can to get that angle with the getting in. Nice and wide. Jordan really doing what he can in the Mustang. Transitioning and doing a great job transitioning, taking it wide, and then going side by side through the finish.
Yeah, so a clean run right there. I think that might be a little bit of a easier deliberation on that run.
Hopefully. I mean, one thing that I was thinking is he was basically side by side by him, and I don't know if that's going to be considered technically if he was still in the run, if it was a straight. And I think he was past the cones by this point that he was going straight, but he was close. But he was doing that the whole run. He's fighting something with not as much power, not as much angle. He doesn't have the power to just fix it. He can't just surge over and then sit there and then scrub out angle if he needs to slow down. So
these are both some lower powered cars too. We've seen a lot of cars coming through here just ripping tons of clouds of smoke. And we actually don't see that from either of these cars. So it's kind of an underdog versus underdog battle, as you kind of mentioned. And both of these drivers really got to get as much out of these lower-powered cars as possible, because likely whoever they go up against after this is going to be someone with a pro build.
No, I finished my water. Sorry, I'm trying to get the comments pulled up here so I can respond to those. I just got to open it up in the app here, and it keeps trying to load into the browser. Technology. Yes, wind is picking up, and those clouds are rolling in. That's why we are trying to make sure this happens as quick as possible. Around 4 o'clock, we are thinking there's going to be some rain, so we're going to try to work on that. Nathaniel with the Mustang gets the win. Going to be moving forward. He put the work in, and he worked that car. Excited to see him moving forward and see what he can do against somebody else. Epic battle, absolutely. I think, Matt, if you want to bring some of those really fancy ratchet straps that we both have, you know, the ones that telescope in and out, that'd be pretty cool. I don't think we have enough ratchet straps. Do you? Like at least one more, probably.
I'm really appreciating the method of getting a lot of thin ratchet straps. Like a jungle gym.
Yeah, I mean, I can hang off that later.
If the mistakes are big enough on either one, I mean,
Well, I guess if one zeros, otherwise you might have to say that. Just because like it's not fair to judge. You don't even have a lead for a lead.
yeah, I would agree with that. We're gonna go with that. The thing is that I saw something in.
No, I remember that. Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? I thought they would have. Alright, we're good.
VQ is definitely the ugly duckling that doesn't die. It's a serenading trumpet noise for everybody to hear. It's clearly amazing. You know, the brass percussion, you know, feeling, you know, the raspiness, you know, when you get into the RPMs. That 3,000 RPM just really helps let it sing. But we're not going to have to deal with those noises right now because we are getting back to our battle that we had postponed, and looks like we have our lead car shutting down.
Oh, no.
Oh no, it's a restart.
Oh, I'm seeing a misstart light. So he's going to complete this run thinking that he, you know, is hopefully going to get a win. He's just trying to show the judges that he can finish. He did knock those cones out to oblivion.
Yeah, but it looks like we did see the restart lights out there. At the very end of the wall, where the first corner is, there's actually a big orange blinking light. It's no longer blinking now, but whenever you see that going off, it means that there was some issue with the start. It's actually their cue to go ahead and turn around. So that was not a mistake by the BMW to just lock up and go off track. He saw the light, the other driver did not, so now they're gonna make their way back around and get ready to go again.
What's up, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you.
Great.
All right,
Well,
there we go. This next run, we're going to have Lee Yearwood. That's going to be in the lead. A huge gap between the cars in the initiation. That's going to be a big gap that needs to be closed by the chase driver, which, again, I believe this is our mini Pat Gooden in the chase position, correct?
Dave Peoples over there, and I mean, he did a great job picking it up, but Yearwood just throwing down and putting on a clinic. But Davey really trying to pick it up and bring it in, doing a phenomenal job. This is going to be a battle, our first top 16 battle here. Our #1 qualifier going in. Mr. Peoples really trying to make it up, though.
An awesome smoke show and a great job trying to close that gap. That was a massive gap on initiation, a huge gap and a huge disadvantage trying to get throughout the run. And then we saw a pretty good job driving by Lee. It also made it a little bit more difficult to get caught up, and that we actually saw Lee kind of cut and ignore a little bit of this outside zone coming closer to the judges' stand. But so far, 2 really aggressive drivers. Lee Yearwood, our #1 qualifier.
It's a little too windy. It's picking up wind. I just heard it. Like, I don't even think they can hear you talking that much.
It's coming from that way. Okay.
But yeah, no, definitely. They're going to line back up and get another run in here. And man, that is a mean car.
Yeah, an incredible car.
Yearwood.
I honestly don't know which one I would say is my favorite, because we saw him in his 240 last year, which is also a beast, and he has tons of seat time in that. And then the BMW is shredding, though. He's coming out here. It's the first time he's driven this track with
Which
that
power
car.
plant is on that one?
I believe that's also an RB-powered BMW.
Is it? Okay. He's just an RB power kind of guy.
I don't think he wants to touch a car without an RB in it.
I think Chan should get in the comments real quick and yell RB power for us. I know we got to see him at a Fuel Fest.
Yeah,
so that's pretty
absolutely.
cool.
Fuel Fest was an absolute success this year. For anyone who went to Fuel Fest who's watching or who's here live again, all the drifting at Fuel Fest was also brought to you by USDrift Circuit. And it was really cool to see a lot of the cars that come in this series, as well as cars just kind of from all over who USDrift Circuit, if they had either participated with USDrift Circuit or had the reach to at least get invited, be a part of it. And I think we did a great job showing Florida what we can do as far as putting on a great show, and between both the organizers and the drivers. And I just know that was such a success.
I mean, my favorite part wasn't just partying with all the boys and hanging out and hanging out with SoFlo, but it was also really getting to give all the ride-alongs that I got to give. Over 22 ride-alongs personally. It was a phenomenal time. Dave Peoples coming out, throwing it around. Big old entry. And Yearwood trying to close up some gap here. But Davey's putting on the power. Monster trucking over that hill. Both of them full commitment here. A gear shift from Yearwood, trying to even get more wheel speed to catch up. They're both throwing it down. I feel like we're not watching a top 16 battle. I feel like this is grade 8. Both of them, full commitment, full angle, and a whole lot of power going down. Great job by those drivers. Holy cow.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot more of exactly what we were talking about in qualifying, which is they got their score, they got on the show, and now when they line up, if they know they're up against a serious competitor, they're going to have to pretend like it's the finals and just do what it takes, because if you know you're going against someone who always brings their 100%, you don't have the option of being conservative. You're on the stage and you need to perform.
No, I'm both great drivers right there. We've got our number 17 qualifier and our number 1 qualifier, so phenomenal stuff, phenomenal stuff.
Loving the RB swap. I really wonder if he's got a favorite that he hasn't done yet, like a favorite vision for an RB swap that he hasn't actually already done. And the winds are starting to slowly pick up. If you're a Florida man, you know that change in temperature, knows a possible change in weather is coming our way. You can smell the rain coming.
I haven't smelt it yet.
Yeah, not yet, but the temperature is at least, I feel
There might be a more superior Florida man here. I know I'm in the running for Florida man.
Is anyone here barefoot? I feel like that's where it starts.
I mean, I've been barefoot. There's some great videos of me actually filling up gas tanks barefoot.
You know, I'm going to be really insulted if the next Grand Theft Auto game that comes out doesn't have the right homages to Florida guys.
Yeah, yep. So it looks like they're giving it to Lee Yearwood, moving forward, our number 1 qualifier, just nudging out Mr. Peoples here with the amazing Mustang. An amazing competitor. I've gotten to drive against him and with him. Super pumped. Giving one more for the crowd.
And there we go, very deserving first place qualifier. No mistakes in this qualifying run, absolutely amazing.
So moving down the bracket, we're going to have Nick Ward and Samuel Acevedo Ryan Acevedo. The Samuel's messing me up, man.
Are there 2 Acevedos on grid?
Nope, there's just one. It's just that's his actual name, I guess. I've always known him as Ryan. So I think that me knowing who he is messing me up at this point.
I think that the biggest thing is I wish we could just stick to the cars. Everyone knows when you just like, he's like, who's that guy? Oh, I don't know. Describe his car.
Yep, so we've got some cool cars rolling up here, and let's see. Well, hold on. That doesn't look like. Are we doing is this one of the reach? What is this?
We're pulling up right now.
Looks-
So, so you guys let him do a tire change? Okay, so we had a false start.
We're figuring it out.
And we're trying to see, but because it's on the other side of the grid, we were able to continue into top 16, so that we have our last top 32 battle.
It's sitting on a double incomplete from them.
Right, double incomplete, so this is the run. This is it. Double zeros in the first one, and let's go ahead and see. Hopefully we see no lights down there. I'm going to keep my eye down there just so I can know what's going on.
Yeah, this is really going to be a lot more like a sudden death run. So here we have Zalpa that's going to lead, doing a good job as far as creating
And this
a gap.
is a good run,
corner.
no lights. Both of them. Willie trying to catch up. The line being followed here in the second, partially coming through for this touch and go into the outer zone, coming into the final zone, finally catching up to his competitor here.
So a complete run, but still a little bit choppy. The judges are going to pretty much have to use just that run to come to a decision.
I almost fell off the top right now. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely know that both those drivers can put together a much better run. I know both of them right now want to have done better, but realistically, in that first outer zone, I didn't see him in it for the lead car. I could be mistaken. Maybe the film is going to show differently, but from my angle here, it didn't look like he filled the zone at all in the first zone. Second zone, he was there and cut out soon to take a shallower line to come through, trying to, I'm guessing, speed away as much as possible. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that was the intention or if that's just the line that he ended up taking. But
yeah, it's a lot of spotty driving, unfortunately. But at the same time, it's like, you know, this is the time to correct it. You know, you want to be making these corrections here and then analyzing these runs and fixing it while you're in your Pro-Am journey, because you might make a lot of mistakes and still end up winning the championship. But then when you get to Pro Spec, you're gonna need to be on your A game. So, you know, I'm hoping that for anyone who is competing in this and doesn't get the result they want, they're doing their absolute best to break down what it is they can work on. Because even if you get your Pro-Am license or Pro Spec license and you feel like you maybe could have executed the whole season better, it's going to be a little bit less confidence you have going into Pro Spec.
For sure, for sure. And looks like the way we're lining up them is over here. So we're going to look to see where the point is, where the judges think.
God, that's a beautiful RX.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
No, it's not comparable. I don't think it's superb. So I would say I'm calling it.
Once again, thank you so much to our sponsors one last time: Link ECU, OMP Racing, Golden Grown, Tire Streets, and Shift Culture.
We need an actual comparison. Because
Really?
besides, it was a shit chase, it was a shit lead.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if Marcelo had put down a fucking banger lead, then we could be like, okay, well, we can give it to them. Give it to them. But it was a shit lead. And then, like, Willie's chase, he was, like, nowhere to be found.
It's okay. So the judges have decided that they're going to do a one more time on that. That way they can really have something to compare here. They did not have a definite winner from that last run, and they feel this is the best option here. So we'll be seeing both of those drivers for the third time come out, and hopefully we can see them put it down.
Yeah, and I imagine that like drivers will probably take this all sorts of different ways. Personally, though, I wouldn't have wanted to somehow have won that, knowing that we both zeroed on the first run and that we both could have done better on our next run. I really would like to go through and see myself move forward with a run I can be proud of. So now they're both going to get a chance to do that for 2 runs. Both have a chance to lead the way they would have wanted to and chase the way they would have wanted to. And it's important they get that, because that's just more track time and practice, because the next competitor they go up against today will have already had to fight their way up the ranks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of those things I'm looking through, and zones are here for decorations was just said on that last one. So I mean,
Ooh, that's a burn.
and then Ryan asked if I would get workers' comp if I took a fall. Not worth it. Let's go through broadcast team shout out. I'm waving. Hello, I see you waving. Yep, there's another wave for you, bud. Absolutely. Love the fans out here. Let me get through these here real quick.
They give us a case of water.
You said you want to bring me beer? I We got water right here, buddy. I love hearing all the Miatas in the background. Spec Miata's awesome. Miatas are great. Miatas are perfect. I love Miatas.
No, Ryan.
There's
Ryan
nothing wrong with a Miata ever.
Miata
Miata
is always the
is always the answer.
Ryan
And if you
Kaufman
don't understand it, Miata is always the answer. Someone in the comments write out that for me.
Brian Kaufman with it, just saying, "Oh, the bees are out," and he couldn't be more accurate. With all that many on track, it just sounds like a swarm behind us.
Sounds like a whole bunch of 1.6 cars. Just nothing sounds like Sebring though. Do enjoy this track. I want to come back out here for the turkey trot and hopefully drive. Maybe do some endurance.
I'm happy we just got so much going on in Florida right now, and it's not even just in motorsports alone. I mean, this year we've got our hockey team's killing it, our basketball team's killing it. We've got F1 coming to Miami. We've got our own ProAM series finally. The bad side being that we lost PPIR.
First off, there is a very good Florida team in the Stanley Cup final. I'm sad to say that my team is not there, but I do support Florida teams. Go Panthers. Absolutely kill them, boys. You've been doing phenomenal. Good job on that sweep. Definitely pumped about all of that. Oh, man. Kevin Phillips, are you here? Are you listening? Please just put a whole bunch of Panthers in the comments. Whole bunch of them. Throw a rat on stage. Come out here, drive out here, and throw a rat out here for me, okay, buddy? All hockey references, by the way, for those that don't watch those sports, because half of us don't. Hockey's the only one I keep up with. I don't keep up with basketball at all, or baseball, or football.
We got a race over here.
Oh, he's tucking. Taxi garage. Neon gonna take the win, crosses the line. NQ.
Are they gonna even make it up the hill?
It says no pedestrians. I don't think they're supposed to be there. All right. For the third time that I've announced this, I think Ryan Acevedo's actually coming up.
Yep, we did our restart, and that ended up in a one more time. So now we're going to move on to the next battle. So thanks for sitting tight with us while we just got that done. Of course, we got to do the steps. You may not want to watch it all, but we got to get through all of it.
We're going to let both cars and drivers obviously reset after one more time. They can put on new tires. They can look over the car, whatever they need to do, as long as they're back on the grid after this run. So here we go.
So this is Nick Ward versus Ryan Acevedo. Nick Ward with Taxi Garage going to lead. Lots of speed coming into that initiation as he makes his way to the outside zone. It's a little bit difficult to see how well they're filling it out. We'll be able to see for sure on the drone, but from what we can see, staying out wide, and Ryan Acevedo giving him no room, doing a good job, going to get even closer on this big sweep within a couple feet.
There we
Nick
go!
Ward makes his way to the outside zone. Nick Ward a little bit on the inside of that outside zone, and then coming across the finish line, Ryan Acevedo giving him no room to move.
That's a clapper right there, everybody. Ryan Acevedo putting in the work. That is the kind of follow and chase that we are looking for, the judges are looking for. A great lead run, and it allowed that follow. There was full commitment from both drivers, both filling of all the zones and the touch and go, as you said. Honestly, I'm so stoked for the turnaround to see how this next one goes. I want to see the Taxi Garage try to outdo him.
And now we can see with that drone footage, too, on the replay that Nick Ward and Ryan Acevedo were both outstanding on that outside zone on turn one. They did a great job staying close. It looks like both it was a great lead and a great chase. It looks like the area where Nick Ward could have improved his performance is on this outside zone, again, closer to the stand. So we know that people want to quite literally just touch and go, just touch, pivot, and move their way on to the last turn of the course. But it looked like he came in a little bit shallow. So Ryan Acevedo, if he's on all the lines and can emphasize a performance there, he may be able to two lead for lead do a better job.
Let's see what Nick can do, though, because I want to see a battle. I want Nick to be like, oh, you were in my door on the radio. Wait, I need to show up? Nick's like, okay, I'll answer that phone call. Let's go ahead and see it. I want him to be on the door.
No, and Nick's all about the smoke. He's been traveling a lot, getting track and seat time at a bunch of different courses across the globe or across the country, and doing that with Taxi Garage, doing a great job on their tour of exposure. And Ryan Coppin, unfortunately, out, but Nick Ward is here to redeem and get vengeance for his teammate and move on Taxi Garage. Here we go, the initiation, immediate surge off the bat with close proximity. Nick Ward doesn't want to even have to worry about catching up. He wants to get glued and stay glued. Ryan Acevedo coming around that first corner, making tons of smoke as he comes across. Nick Ward's going to need to reel him back in if we're going to see a run-for-one comparison, and it looks like he's doing a good job tucking in just for that reason. Ryan Acevedo getting a little bit closer to that clip and a transition, and they are door-to-door across the line.
Nick,
Once again, make a round of applause for these two.
Ryan coming around that first thing, putting the smoke down, putting the speed, big e-brake grab. Possibly, I've got to wait for the drone footage, but looked like he was a little outside of that first outer zone. If he was touching, he was barely dragging a bumper into it. Bringing it around, not as deep as Nick was. So if there's going to be a comparison there for lead to lead, there's that. But the follow until the end, Nick was doing a great job and some of the best we've seen today, but it is not going to stand a candle next to Ryan Acevedo's chase there, where he was literally stuffing it into him as best he could. I'm surprised we didn't get to see door marks.
Yeah, I mean, run for run, there's definitely areas where you can critique. And what's nice about this is that you can critique the run because the areas were either mistakes or perfect. So it's very easy to figure out how to tally up what the mistakes were. And the judges right now definitely have a lot to deliberate. I'm sad to see these guys going against each other so quick. That could have been a finals run.
Well, we're in the top 16. It feels like we haven't even done this. But, I mean, 32 with all of the things. I'm glad that we don't have a huge field. But at the same time, we got through 32 like this. We're in top 16. We normally have a little parade. We're normally excited for these guys. We got the Umbrella Girls out, you know. Huh? Nick Ward with the win. Nick Ward with the win, guys. Both drivers, awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm surprised, but at the same time, I do see it. I see where Nick did well. I saw that his lead, in my opinion, was a little bit better. Chase for chase, you know, obviously we got to show both ways. So very excited to see both those competitors. Excited to see both of them move forward in these series and series in the future. Where's Chris Jackson? Chris Jackson, am I allowed to have beer? Ah!
All right, so a little bit more insight from the judges on that one. So chase for chase, they were insanely close, but it really was what you had just kind of talked about, where you said you understand it's probably the lead. So we have confirmation that that really is where it was, and we can see a lot more of that in the drone footage. So if we look back at Nick Ward's lead run, we can see that he is absolutely carving that outside white line throughout all of OZ1. Where it came to the other outside zones miss, they actually kind of both missed the same zone. So this zone that's closest to us over here, the judges stand, neither of them got as close to it as they should have. On the rest of the runs, they were both okay. The chase runs were so close, but the differentiation of OZ1 being missed by too much and how big of an outside zone that is to miss, I think that was the deciding factor for the judges. So
yeah, I mean, I can see it without the drone, and it's a concern for me. Obviously, it's going to be there. It's just one of those things where when you get excited and that X factor is there, you're almost hoping that it can help carry over, or it can bring it one more time. No offense to the guys that are on one more time. I would rather just see that run all day. I'd rather see those two competitors go back to back to back to back. We can't do that all day. We got great competitors out here. But, man, I love seeing good driving.
Yeah, and leniency on one more times, it's one thing that's definitely controversial, and it's different across all these different communities where there's competitions. There's some series in the United States where if you can't make a decision quickly, you just send them one more time. If it's not obvious, you just go again. Today, it's a little bit shorter of a competition. We're trying to beat the weather, so if you can choose a winner in a way that makes sense, obviously we're going to try and make that determination.
Well, we got Miles and Eric coming up. Miles Flick absolutely killed it with his qualifying. We saw some great angle. He held the number 2 position, I believe, at one point, barely getting knocked down into a qualifying position of fourth. Phenomenal run, really has that good angle. The silver wheels on the blue is phenomenal, that chrome. He's in the lead position here. He's through the chicane, and let's go ahead and see how this vet does trying to keep up with him. Let's go ahead and see what Eric can do. Miles putting a big entry, and Eric answering with tons of power and trying to go ahead and get in there. We got a little three-wheel action over the bump. Miles putting the hammer down with the power, coming into that outer zone, just skirting the outside of it with a cone, coming around looking for this inner zone. It's not an inner zone, it's an inner clipping point, touch and go. They're coming into the third outer zone. Good transition, and at the end, surging to get as close as he can to that back bumper. Both great drivers there. I mean, what more can you say?
That was a great lead run. It almost seemed like the reason Eric didn't have such proximity is because of that smoke show that we saw in quarter one. I saw for a moment a couple of bobbles, and it almost looked like Eric got just a little bit disoriented. And then by the time he came through the smoke, he had all this extra homework of a gap he had to close. But an amazing job by that Mustang driver, assuming that what we could see from the drone was also hitting that outside zone. From what we could see, it looked like he was hitting all his marks.
Absolutely, both of them with great driver control. I mean, I'm watching the replay, and both of them knowing exactly what they want to do, and really doing it well. Crazy the commitment that those drivers have. This drone footage just showed. I hope that it goes on the live stream. For him to get that final angle and that final surge without straightening, and the angle he does, he has to point his car straight at a big concrete wall. I mean, huge concrete wall that's not going to move, and then have to immediately pull back out and go. It's a commitment to trying to do that dive, and I mean, hopefully it pays off for him. Both drivers, great job. Cannot wait for this next turnaround where Miles is going to be in the chase position. Let's see how he can answer. Maybe he can get through the smoke and he can get on the door.
Yeah, and this is the same driver that I was talking about a little bit earlier, where the car looks very comfortable to him, and he looks like he's done a great job getting very consistent in that vehicle. It almost seems like the only thing I would wish I could give that driver is just a little bit more grip, because it did look like if Eric didn't get disoriented, he would have had no issues keeping up. So now we're going to be able to see if he's going to be able to keep up with Eric, if Eric's putting down his car and laying it out.
Eric calling a 5-minute rule mean that they're going to go ahead and go back to the pits, which means we're going to go into our one more time with Willie here with the King's Performance FD. And let's go ahead and see what we can do there. Willie and Marcelo qualified 15th and 18th, trying to battle their way into the top 16.
So a 5-minute timeout. We don't know exactly why that timeout is being called just as of yet. If this is your first time watching a drift competition, or you're here in person and you don't know what we're talking about, every driver can call for a 5-minute timeout, and they use that time period only to work on and fix something on the car if it's in the middle of their turn to run. And that 5 minutes starts when they put hands on the car. They can look around it. As soon as that timer starts, tools need to be down when it's over. Yep. And you need to be able to pull away from the pit at that point. If you can't, then you're disqualified from your run.
On the technical side, I want to say thank you to FD and the drifting community in general for having it more safe, whether it's on jack stands for the end and beginning. I really appreciate that. Here we go, Willie going out, coming around, and he's going to surge in, trying to do the same thing, but not spinning out on it, but still seeming to have an issue. And man, Willie's on the outside of that zone as well. Looking like there's an issue with the BMW. Not quite sure what it is, but
yeah, that's a tough break for Zalpa. Not the way you want it one more time to go, for sure.
No, definitely not. Watching the replay, he took an inside line, more of a dive in, trying to make sure he had that proximity, and did a straighten. And the car's clearly got something issued-wise, because he tried to reinitiate, and then there he is spinning out again. Not really sure if you could say that that's the lead car's fault. I don't see any reason why. I don't see him choking up on him or anything.
Well, we didn't see a big variance in the speed either, so if he slowed down a little bit and that was enough to choke you up to spin, it's almost like a LeBron James flop. You can't, you got to be able to endure that. Some level of variance in speed has to be acceptable, and I didn't see anything dramatic on our end. It's nice to be up here and be able to hear the conversations that judges are having. What's really nice that, you guys can't hear what we're hearing, but I can just reassure you that they are getting very technical about the deliberation for these runs. They're doing a great job picking it apart. We have a couple people who are, they're all drivers. They've all been people who have actually driven before. One of them, again, being Adam Ginkle, who's joined us and competed and even gotten on podium last year in USDrift circuit. And then, of course, we also have our buddy Paul over here, who's been a long-time mechanic drifter. So, these guys are really judging you the way they would like to be judged, which you can't always say, because a lot of times judges are just fans of drifting but may not actually drive. And in this case, I'm happy to say we've got all drivers here up here with us.
I've been very fortunate everywhere I've ever judged is drivers or people that work really well with it. But here we go, seeing if we can go ahead and keep this car together. It looks like it wants to straighten up on him or walk out. Not really sure what's going on, but he's taking control of it now. Not quite filling that first outer zone, but full commitment and full charge into the second zone. Looking for him to come up with the FT, and he does. Finding the space in the touch and go transition. King's Performance keeping it together, even though he overshot it a bit, keeping it moving and putting together an aggressive follow.
So, assuming it wasn't ever a 0-0 on the first run again, because I don't think we saw 2 tires off from the other driver on the first run.
I don't believe that we saw the King's Performance FD go 2 tires off, but it was close. I do believe his one tire was clearly over and the other one was on the line. They looked at the footage multiple times to deliberate on that. So it does look like we will have a 0-0 for our friend here in the BMW, and Willie having 2 complete runs. So Marcelo in the BMW, Willie in the FD, the judges deliberating. You guys at home, in the comments, how do you feel? I'm sure you guys have said something. I'm not looking right now, but I'll look.
Yeah, if we get enough viewers, maybe one of these days we'll have a competition where if there's enough time, we just run a top favorite grudge match, let the viewers in the stream vote. Just for bragging rights.
Well, there we go. With the point by Willie, moving forward in the FD. Both beautiful cars, both great drivers. Love to see them in the competition. Our bracket is now complete for our top 16, even though we're, 5 battles into our top 16 here, or 4 at least. We're going to be looking at our, I think Miles should be coming up here. If they're done, but maybe their 5-minute is not. So if they aren't, we're going to be moving to Taylor Ray and John Temple. And I know we got to talk about Taylor Ray's car and its stuff in the pre-thing, but wow, is that a beautiful car. Well set up, aggressive. He's been consistent since he got out here. Definitely a fan favorite.
Absolutely. A big hit on FaceTube. Absolutely. YouTuber, no, influencer.
FaceTuber?
I'm completely out of the loop on the influencers and drifting, but
I was confused on what you were saying. I was like, what FaceTube? I don't know what that is.
My book. FaceTube.
My book. Snapchatter.
John Temple in the white and black what is it, an S14? I think so. I can barely see it from here. And we're just going to send it. Taylor Ray in the lead position through the chicane. Nice early initiation. Big handbrake pulls by both of them. And a nice charge in. Taylor putting some sauce in, having to grab some front tire brake here. Coming around, filling the whole outer zone, hitting some cones. Putting the smoke show on and mitting a gap down. Trying to fill it, coming up, cutting the line and putting the power in. And man, Temple is really trying to show up on this follow. Temple really looking to hunt down Taylor Ray. Taylor Ray putting a smoke screen out. Feels like there was almost an oil slick even.
Wow, keeping up with that vet looks like it is a workout. I don't know
Definitely a handful.
And that's not even a slow car. We just saw that other S14 going against other competitors, and we know he has grip and traction, and that vet was just taking off on him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you watch the replay, it's insane the speed that he has, and he still feels like he's feathering it. I'm not hearing the full commitment on that. Not that he's not full committed as a driver, but I think the car has so much power and potential that he's having to watch his throttle usage.
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't even need all of what the car can do today. He's really just trying to take what he needs. It's like he's at a buffet and there's a sign up that's just like, only take what you need or you're in trouble, because that car will punish you if you try to use all of it where it's not necessary.
I mean, he's keeping it together. He wants to get the win, and he wants that car to last a very long time. He put a lot of time, energy into that, and I respect it. I know how that is. You know, I don't see a mark on it, at least that I'm aware of. So, you know, coming into a competition with your baby like that, I mean, he was doing solo runs, and he was doing like 1Vs and stuff like that with some people. I think you were in King of OSW with it, but I'm not 100%
whole build is
sure.
on the YouTube?
Huh?
The whole build is on the YouTube?
Yes. I haven't watched all of it. I'm sorry, Taylor, if you're watching. I'm sure you have enough people watching all your videos. There's so much content to absorb, and honestly, I'm in my garage working on my car half the time, or at my real job, you know? So.
Well, all jokes aside about the whole, you know, the YouTube channels and all that, I think what's really cool about it is it's turned something into something so accessible for drifting. Like, to be able to watch these builds go on and see a video where it's like, I was going to do all of this, but now I can't because all this stuff is wrong.
So John Temple in the lead, Taylor Ray in the chase position, both of them powering in. Taylor, nice little charge in there, trying to put it in there, wanting for Temple to put the power down so he can get in that proximity. Both of them going to put the hammer here, coming around. Temple throwing some angle, Taylor throwing some angle, Taylor getting that proximity down, trying to show off to the judges why he needs to be put forward. And we'll see how the judges feel about that. I feel like Taylor's kind of holding back still, though.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because you knew that S14 was scurrying as quickly as possible across this course. He got a taste of how fast that vet was, and you could just tell that he was trying to use every ounce for momentum on that lead run.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Beautiful vet, though. Extremely well tuned. I have not seen. I think that's the best tuned vet I might have ever seen outside of an actual FD build.
I mean, it's basically an FD build.
Basically an FD build. First one I've seen that's just not actually already competing in FD.
Yep. And I just saw through the window, looking at John Temple there, doing a praying hands emoji, saying, "Wow, great runs, good job." Both of them communicating with hand signals, taking their helmets off here to thanks each other.
That's one of my favorite parts of drifting, too. Like in other motorsports, if one person beats another, sometimes they're even poor winners about it. And drifting, if someone beats you because they're on their door, you know you lost, but you're excited about it. You're like, that was awesome. I want the video. Send it my way.
I'm sure both of us have those instances where, like, either we get the win and we weren't expecting it because we didn't realize that there was a mess up behind us or something along those lines. And the judges were unanimous. Taylor Ray moving forward, beating John Temple, but both putting out an amazing performance. And I cannot wait to see both of them in the future series here in the next 3 rounds.
No, and having outstanding performing cars isn't even anything new to Taylor. I mean, the Miata was an absolute rocket ship as well. Nothing. I go to events where I just hear drivers come back from events and they'd be like, "Oh, Taylor Ray was there. I wanted to go get doors with him. I tried to tandem with him. He absolutely left me in the dust.
Yeah.
There was no chance."
No, people see a Miata and they think that. I mean, I've gotten the chance to drive with both of them before. Not as much as I would love to, as much honestly, because I was in my Miata still. My Miata was a 1.6 car. Theirs was LS. They were doing clutch kickers and everything, and the two of them were just inseparable. The amount of driving time that they had together, how good they were. They left clutch kickers in the dust. Yeah. I mean, both doing a very, very good job. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened with Taylor's car, but I do know that Ben's was sold, and I actually get to see it now. Not an unfortunate thing. I get to see it a lot more because at OSW all the time. Somebody bought it that drives out there with it a lot. So it looks like we got a red vet coming up. So it should be Eric, correct? Yep, so I was correct in seeing that. I see Miles and Eric getting ready to line up. Again, Eric called a 5-minute. So we are ready for this battle. So I do see Eric will be in the lead position, Miles in the chase. All right, Both of them going out there. A lot of power. Miles putting the power down and trying not to rotate out, saving it somehow. Lost in the smoke, unfortunately. Maybe he didn't save it the way I thought he would. He honestly came with so much power and pulled that e-brake a little too late, trying to get that proximity. The car started to rotate out on him. Here we see Eric finishing up his run as he needs to. And honestly, I think I just saw 2 off at the end. That's a 0-0. So now you guys have to judge. The judges now need to judge off that first run alone, and we need to get the cameras up so they can rewatch that run. Honestly, that's going to take some time because they've got to go back and look at the previous footage. But yeah, as I said, he just rotated too much. He had too much power coming in, braked a little too late, just trying to close that gap as much as he can to just follow him through the whole time in proximity. But just pushed a little too hard. Tires went out on him, and he rotated the rear around.
Yeah, right now the judges are able to take a look at it. It was kind of cool as we can see it as they're seeing it. And sure enough, that's 2 tires off. So, I mean, we called in the very beginning of the day. We said this last clipping zone and that very last corner on exit was going to be the make it or break it. And here we have people who have opportunities to move on just because of zeros.
He would have won. He would have guaranteed a win if he could have completed that run. But unfortunately, the Jackson Performance Corvette here not able to make it happen. Eric allowing himself to go 2 off and getting a 0. That last run, again, being a 0-0. Rewatch that. You can zero out, but if fluids come out and cause
Yeah, he said if fluid came out of the Corvette and all from the
Yeah, but the bracket got fixed already. Someone fixed it immediately. All right, this is where you guys try to. I can't see anything. Right. And if Miles won that one, then it doesn't matter if it was spring or not. He still wins either way. Miles gets the win regardless. Miles lose, yeah. The judges have gone through and they had to look at footage and confirm. Miles Flick getting the win, moving on forward, beating the Corvette for Eric. There was some concerns about possible fluids and such.
basically what it came down to is the Corvette dropped 2 tires.
Yep. So the Corvette did drop 2 tires at the end of that, even though so it was 0-0. So they did look at the first lead run, basically to answer the question of who is the winner. Where'd your phone go for the live stream? Is it in your pocket? Oh, no, it's fine. I just want to try to know when we're on us and not, because I don't want to be like sitting down. It's on us. I just wish there was like a light on it or something.
In the C6 Corvette into the burnout box.
Yes. So if you guys are hearing me on the live stream, I'm reading some things here. Stock Miatas are tons of fun. You just got to drive the TF out of them. I don't know exactly what that wording means, but I'm sure you guys could figure it out. Yes, that's absolutely. Does Dustin have other clothes? No, I purely own one Dustin Motors t-shirt and Bucky's shorts. Religiously, I wear those to drift events. So no, I only own this outfit. I go to Bucky's to get new pants. I don't own a washer or dryer. I actually go to Coinstar for my t-shirt to be washed. And then Bucky's shorts are disposable, I'm pretty sure. So, going through more questions on here. Some of these are hilarious. If you guys aren't in the comments, definitely check them out. I, unfortunately, am not in the position where I can repeat most of the things that are on there. But as an adult, please log in and enjoy yourself. It is hilarious. Matt the Ginge is really in there, absolutely going to town, so that's always a good time. Dustin, come to Final Bout 6. Send me an invite. What's up? Send me an invite. I'll come out. I'm always down. Dustin is legally my dad. What? Dustin Cook confirmed. That's why he's on his phone right now. 100%. Well, here we go.
Whoa,
wow.
big flick.
Coming in. Absolutely killing it. Lewis here in the Corvette. Flying. And looking like that FD knows what it's doing now. Coming in, showing a new side of the driving, filling this whole zone, coming around, using it. Lewis lands absolutely going to town, filling this last zone. Hopefully he can hold it in, which he does. Phenomenal lead run there and a great attempt to chase.
Oh, an absolute great job out there driving. That was one of our top 3 qualifiers out there in the Corvette, doing a phenomenal job and showing why he deserved to be up there at the top of the qualifiers. Doing it, I mean, just tons of grip, tons of acceleration. We know that FD is really well built, but it's just no match for when a driver and car are in synchrony.
My phone is not working. I'm trying to turn. I don't know what's going on. All right. No, I don't know who the cook is, and I'm not a great cook, so I'm not the cook. Whatever that means, air quotes, I know what that means. Dustin could never. Matt the Ginge, get Dustin to put me in the booth. I don't know what that means, but maybe.
Put me in, coach.
Put me in, coach. I say that all the time. Cook. Let's go. Meow. Let's go. Gotta go. Killing it. I know you're up here shirtless. I'm looking at you. God dang it. Oh, man.
Oh, there we go. Going into our next battle now. The RX-7's going to lead. Corvette in the chase position.
Here we go. Coming around. Absolutely throwing it. Willie's going around. Lewis trying to go ahead and go in. A little on the outside there, dropping it looks like a tire. Absolutely going to charge here, which he does. Absolutely surging in. Look at him trying to get in that proximity on a little bit wider run than he's used to, but still finding the outer zone. He is chasing that lead run. He is doing what he needs to do as a follow driver and absolutely pushing.
That was awesome. Absolutely incredible chase run right there. He was all over that RX-7.
That was absolutely an entertaining battle, and I'm pumped to admit that I know that guy. Lewis, man, I know you're going to be rewatching this. Great job. What a phenomenal run. Willie, absolutely great job as well. You've been putting that car together and working your butt off. I love seeing both of you guys here. Phenomenal people, get to hang out with them. As much as I'd like, not enough. I want to hang out with you guys more. Let me fangirl. Man, I love that car. When he did the carbon Kevlar with it too.
No, it looks absolutely beautiful.
Phenomenal. There's actually some video of me pushing him around. Not pushing him around, I was barely chasing him, but getting right up next to him over at Showtime, which has been a very interesting track to go to. First time getting out there recently, and I've gone a couple times since and enjoyed it. Wait a minute, you're telling me Lewis Lance just won? Lewis Lance moving forward with the carbon Kevlar Corvette. Absolutely great job. Cannot wait to see the next battle with that guy involved. That's not my phone. What do you think, man?
That was absolutely a show. This guy means business. He's definitely going to show up today, and he wants nothing less than a podium. He might not even be happy with anything less than first. I mean, the way he's driving, you'd think he would have been first place in qualifying. I don't know how he wasn't. Absolutely incredible.
Oh, goodness. I can say cook or kook if I want to. I'm allowed to say words. I don't know how to read. You're 1,000,000% right. No, you cannot. I will kick you off the top. I can make that happen. You're lucky you're up here. You didn't even bring me a beer. Oh, shh. Hey, I'm waving. What's up, buddy? Oh, goodness. Good seeing you guys. $5 PayPal ready. Free. No, I'm not reading that. Lewis, I think that you're asking about an Adam. He's up here. I know that you're confused about how to spell Adam. It's not LZ. It's Adam. He's the judge over here. So that's who we're talking about clearly. Hey guys at the USDrift Series booth. Hey guys at the booth. Hello guys. I was told I had to wave to you, and I'm waving to you guys. You guys are doing a great job. Great work. Yeah, there it is. There's the hello, hello. Yes. Did LZ go yet? I don't think he did. Chris Jackson is calling me. Hold on.
Here we go, Sasa Prospero in the lead on that S14. Been doing a phenomenal job all day today with an incredible qualifying run. Doing a good job right now. That red vet doing the best he can to go ahead and shorten his line, get some proximity. Sasha Prospero going to pick up speed right here on this long transition. Doing a good job. A couple wobbles right there. The Corvette being a little bit too cautious. And there we go, Sasha Prospero getting that last outside zone. Stay inside the lines, and it looks like they both do it.
They did both do it for sure. Sasha
They both stayed inside it.
Absolutely putting down a run there in the lead position. Phenomenal driving by both drivers there. It looks like a Brandon Cox driving the Corvette there.
Yeah, driving a little bit too conservative. I would have liked to see him really get aggressive there, because the thing is, Sasha is not afraid to. Sasha's now going to get his chance to chase.
100%.
And I'll expect him to do nothing less than maybe be the first mark on that red paint job.
You heard it here first, folks. Sasha's going to be going for a mark on the Corvette.
If he puts a rubber mark on there, I'll go take a selfie with it and then play this clip back on my Instagram.
Oh, yeah, the clout.
Why is it recording when I do? Yeah, now I do.
All right. There are so many comments going on. Miss you, Dustin. I miss you, too. Sky's getting dark. We don't talk negative around here.
Bro, does he?
What's up?
The guy, we're trying to make money off this thing. The way he's got $15 that we're
No, I can't do that. You're not supposed to be up here. Chris Jackson just...
drivers can come up.
Yeah, I don't have control. I don't have control to say people can come up here.
No, I agree.
I'm sorry. If Chris Jackson gives me approval, I don't care who comes up here.
Shut down, bro.
Well, in the comments, just start messaging Chris Jackson. Just message him nonstop about having the guy in the white long sleeve come up here. What does this even mean? What does that? I don't know what that even means.
I'm scared.
I'm terrified. Good soup. Dustin, do the truffle shuffle. No.
All right, so it looks like they are now pulled back up to the line again. The judges are just taking a look at that first run a little bit more. So being able to see more of that drone footage, again, that first outside zone, it's just so far from us to be able to see it, and then you see the drone footage, and it's almost the exact opposite of what you predicted. So it looks like Sasha did a great job getting to that outside zone and staying hooked on that outer line almost all the way around that corner, if not the entire way. And then the red vet coming inside by a lot, which, you know, to some extent, when you're in the chase position, you have to make those decisions if you know you're going to fall behind. That's how you get caught up, is by cutting your line, but it still does tack against you.
Absolutely. So I think you're going to be absolutely right. I think Sasha's going to take this opportunity here. Here we go. Nice flick going forward. Sasha trying to charge in, coming around on that outside zone, filling it. Maybe a little off of it, but coming around. Both of them there, and Sasha, hopefully a nice charge here. Looking like the vet's taking the straightest line possible to go ahead and do it, missing some of that zone to do so. Not taking any time to transition over, coming to this final zone, putting the work in and trying to get as close as he can to that Corvette.
I think that one's going to be a really easy call for the judges. I think that, you know, obviously we're not judges ourselves, but it looked like Sasha Prospero definitely took that one. And what I really liked is he very confidently stayed right behind that vet. He didn't need to know where the rest of the track was. He just, even when the vet made a shallow line, it didn't even phase Sasha. He was able to just stay focused and stay close.
First off, this comment section is absolutely hilarious. Dustin needs a beer every hour on the hour. Dustin's getting the beer shakes. Oh, goodness gracious.
All right, guys, we have a winner for this one. And it looks like Sasha Prospero gets the win. Sasha gets the win.
Absolutely dominated in the practice as much as you could, showed us a lot of potential, and here we are seeing the fruits of that. A great showing as well with the red Corvette here. Phenomenal driving, honestly. Again, we've got some top competitors here, and we're excited to see it. I can't wait to move on to this top 8 scenario. Coming on up, a big fan favorite here, Steven coming in with the 240. Going against Nathaniel Jordan. Excited to see that matchup as well. What are you thinking about Nathaniel?
I mean, these are both, again, really good drivers. We know that we saw the other competitor come back last season, and we just saw Sasha Prospero, who was a last season competitor and a contender even for his license last year, doing an amazing job. So repetition is everything. The guys who were here last year immediately, in my opinion, have an advantage going in, and I think we're seeing that be true as we get further into this competition.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's the thing is Sebring is Sebring. There are some bumps over there if you're offline. It is a gripped up surface, and it's all concrete from World War II, right? Or World War I, or whatever war that they made this for. It was number 2. I was right the first time.
The sequel.
Yeah, there was no concrete during World War I. I'm just joking. Just say fallacies. Just make up war facts.
It was all there. It used to be a bomber training base.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was a bomber training base.
Yeah,
Now
they have these huge eye hooks that like dig into the ground, and they were ready for planes not to fly away during hurricanes. It was awesome. Still is awesome. Sebring, legendary Sebring Raceway, out here with Formula Drift.
And what's great about this, which you don't have to worry about at tracks like Palm Beach International Raceway, is there's no grass to get charged for because it's just all concrete.
Oh, very nice.
So very nice.
I think USDrift circuit thought that one through, you know?
Yeah, very good. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Palm Beach International Raceway, known as Moroso to others.
Here we go. Steven out there grabbing, big handbrake coming around. Nice power, good commitment coming through. I'm not seeing any break in his acceleration there at all on this lead run. Follow, trying to find his way through that smoke, coming up and trying to get some proximity, charging but losing his angle to do so. Steven coming around, absolutely flying with the bell race.
Up. I think this is going to be the David versus Goliath battle and the start of a really much more challenging climb for that Mustang, because he did all the right things he could do to keep up, and he still looked like he was left a little bit. I'd imagine he'd have to do the same exact thing to have a chance at creating a gap, and I think Stefan's just going to be right there.
I think that Nathaniel is going to put down a great lead at the beginning. We're going to see how it goes after the surge. When Steven is on his door, which is what I predict will happen, I want to know if he's going to be looking backwards and feeling that pressure, or if he's going to drive through and it's just going to be an amazing lead follow run and we're going to get to see some textbook tandem.
Yeah, I mean, with the lower power, one thing I'm really happy to see as an attribute for that driver is he knows how to drive with the momentum of the car. And this is something that used to just be the norm. Actually, now it's starting to become more of a rarity, because so many drivers start with power, so they don't learn that that momentum is what needs to come first, and then you gradually introduce throttle to add to that momentum later. So you have these cars out here where they're just mashing the gas pedal all the way through the course, but you can be lower power and actually keep up if you actually already know where to throw the weight from side to side, extend the corner. And he's doing all those right things. So
well, he doesn't have the availability to tap on the brakes and do these things that could scrub speed, because he needs to cut that angle to even keep up, you know, to keep his proximity to where it's a chaseable run. But let's go ahead and see how they do here on the speed. He is on that bumper, giving him some space so he can flick over. Both of them, even in the transition, charging forward. Steven looking to be on his bumper, coming around, chasing for a door, trying to get past that tire. Coming up, we're hitting a cone up, and this is where I'm saying that pressure is going to come from. This is where I feel like he's going to charge in, which he is, coming into the second zone, both filling the zone, coming around for the touch and go. Steven side by side, almost touching that under fender, coming around and absolutely sticking it to him during the transition and all the way through the end. Steven absolutely putting on a clinic about proximity, and it is going to be an easy one for the judgment on that number.
Very smooth. He predicted everything just perfectly. I even think there might have been a little bit of touching right there as I came right across the line. But you're across the line, doesn't matter. Yeah, no touchy.
No touchy. No, we want touchy.
But the phenomenal thing is that we guessed that one right there on the money. So we need to get USDrift circuit on FanDuel, and then we need to make FanDuel legal in Florida.
We need Dustin and T-Pain to commentate. First off, T-Pain commentating sounds awesome. I don't know how I could stand next to that legend, but I would do it in a heartbeat. Coming up, absolutely great run, phenomenal.
Yeah, a little touch right there. We were right.
Man, it's crazy how close they get to that wall going under the bridge. Do you want to announce, or do you want me? Coming in, moving forward, Steven in the black 240, absolutely killing it. Cannot wait to see him move on into the grade 8 and see what he will do. Everybody also give a huge round of applause to Nathaniel for making something happen that with a car most people couldn't dream of doing. He absolutely made it work with that car. Huge props.
Now, something that driver has everything to be so proud of himself for is that when he finally does get power, he's most likely going to use it better than other people that started with it. Drivers that know how to drive with the momentum of their car first, when they finally do get a good power plant underneath them, they're almost unstoppable.
Matt the Gin's not lying at all. Steven bringing the pro in ProAM.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
He's actually the reason my Z drives well. He did my alignment.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he did my alignment.
You got the Steven special?
Well, he did it, and then I was like, okay, and I counted everything, and like I filled where I wanted for toe and stuff, and I've made some adjustments since, and obviously stuff goes out of whack every single drift event, but you know, I've been doing shoestring alignments for the last 5 events, and car keeps going forward, so.
That's the alignment with a lot of heart in it.
A lot of
That's
heart.
how you put love in your alignment.
Yeah. Absolutely, putting a lot of heart into it. I'm sorry, brother. I don't get to make the call, okay? I shot Chris Jackson a text, though, okay?
So we're making our way pretty well.
It's a sketchy ladder to get up here. I'm just saying. It's a sketchy ladder.
So we're making our way, we're almost done with our top 16, I'd say. We're a little bit more than halfway done, if I'm not mistaken.
We got one battle left in top 16.
One battle left in top 16. So we were doing a great job. There's a lot of worry about what the weather was going to be like. We actually left it up to a vote for the drivers as to whether or not we would postpone this event or not, and it was a dead even tie between the drivers that said send it and the ones that said postpone. So to be able to come out here and just try to cram it all in, make it as quick as possible, this has to be the fastest competition we've ever ran.
It's definitely the fastest competition that I've done here at Sebring, for sure. I think the only other faster competition I've done in my life was at Mid-Pond, and I was a judge, and we were flying through that thing.
Our Fuel Fest one actually went by pretty quick, too. We went by, we had every driver go. They were sending them before we had an answer and just getting through it.
We were, the one more time towards the end dragged on a little bit, but
Yeah,
Mateo and Davey were really sending it, and it was a hard battle.
And ultimately, that was more of an expedition, so if we needed to give the fans a little bit more drifting, that's never a bad thing in that case.
No, not at all. Well, here we come on, going into our next battle. Fellow in the lead position, charging forward, coming around, huge angle, sticking it on and then putting the power on. Crazy that he kept that on. Sergio not knowing what to do with it, but then finding it and absolutely burying his wheel into his door, trying to get that proximity. Sergio surging forward into that second zone, coming around. Fellow throwing huge angle, keeping the touch and go. Sergio lined up and has contact, over-rotated, and Fellow hitting him with the bumper, not allowing him to transition. Sergio went too far forward in that, predicting Fellow was going to go wider and cut more line than he did.
Yeah, from where we're sitting, we're definitely going to need the drone footage to take a look at that one. But I mean, Fellow put together all the pieces of the track correctly. It was no fault of his that the chase car was just doing a phenomenal job staying close. So even if that touch and a little bit of contact right there at the end of the run is all fair play, he's going to have his work cut out for him.
Yeah, no, it is the job of the lead car to obviously give a lead. Now, you cannot impede that lead car's run. That's on initiation, that's on transitions. The follow car was in a position, in my opinion, from all the rules I've ever known, is in the wrong. And they were still able to complete it, but it is going to obviously weigh on the judges' minds.
Yeah, it's a big determining factor right there, because this is an area where we know you have to slow down. So you can't necessarily ding Fellow for having to scrub momentum, because this is where it's expected. You're coming into the tightest turn on the course where that just took place. And then on top of that, you have the fact that every chase driver already has to scrub for every transition. Anytime you're close, you're doing a combination of letting off the gas, left foot braking. Maybe you're even doing all three, including grabbing your e-brake, just to stay close, transition, and still be on their door when you get through it. So in his case, he might have just been being a little bit too greedy, trying to get too much door action, and then just couldn't get out of the way for the rear end of Fellow's car in time.
I mean, you're going to be touching bumpers, touching doors when you're that close and trying to get that transition. It's a hard thing to try to predict. That flick, and then you've got to flick out enough for them to come around and you to fill in that space, and they're right back on the door. And the timing just was a little off. It wasn't huge. It didn't really mess up Fellow's finishing run there from what I could tell, but it did take a bumper. There was contact. It was visible, and it is his job to give space to the lead car driver.
Well, as a driver, I wouldn't discourage him from ever, bringing down the aggression, because the rest of that run was so rewarding to watch. He was really close on proximity with a driver who was already fully committed. That was 100% from both drivers, and then it just became a little bit of overcooking right at the end. It was
Great
just
run.
one slight change, maybe even a couple inches of distance might have made the difference.
No, Sergio did a phenomenal job. Absolutely great job. I'm excited to see Fellow's answer to that, because I know for a fact Fellow knows how close he was, and Fellow wants to be closer. So if you're not standing up, I know I am. Here we go, Sergio in the lead position, running out. Both of them flicking in. Tons of brake coming in. Fellow actually scrubbing a little bit more speed than I thought he was going to, coming into this first outer zone, coming around, filling the zone, a smoke show, and not nearly the proximity that we saw with Sergio. Fellow trying to surge into the second zone, cutting the line as best he can and make up for it. Going to the outer zone, looking at the transition, and is getting in there at the end. It's going to be a hard one on the judges, going for lead, follow. Seeing that both cars did a great job on their lead runs, it's going to come down to the follow. And then what are we weighing that disruption of ability to drift? I don't know that answer.
I almost feel like if it weren't for that, I would be leaning way more towards Sergio. And it's
100%. Oh, no, Sergio's lead or follow was better. It had better proximity, better everything. But at the end, he did make a mistake over here. We just need to see what the weight of that mistake is.
From what we can see, of course, the drone footage on the replay, we can see again in that run we just watched, lead car did a great job at filling that first outer zone. That's the one we have a little bit of tough time with visibility from where we're sitting over here. But there was just way too much proximity left on the table, so I agree. I think it's going to come back to that first run.
Yeah, no, Sergio came out here to win, and I know both those drivers had a great time in those runs. I can't wait to, see both of them move on and see who the call goes to. So you heard just as much as I did. Fellow moving forward in the black, red, and white BMW. So I'm guessing the judges saw what we saw, obviously. When it comes down to disrupting that line and thing, I don't know if they zeroed him on something. I'm not sure how the scoring's going to look, but I know for a fact it's going to get looked at in the future, and drivers are going to talk about it in the future as well.
Yep, absolutely.
I know you guys are looking on stream and maybe not seeing the cars or whatever, but I'm talking to one of the judges here and just trying to just absorb as much information as possible. So sorry if I'm not here talking with you and everything, but everything we're saying to each other isn't really something that needs to be said on the live stream. I'm just trying to understand rules and situations.
So it's like...
Nick Ward versus Lee Wood coming up.
So, I mean, yeah, Sergio's, I think, his chase run over.
That's, if I'm not mistaken, we're in the top 8. That's the top 8, baby. We've made it. Here we go. Lee Yearwood, Nick Ward coming out. Lee Yearwood showing now. Nick not giving him an inch. Transition right on him. Coming around in the first outer zone, absolutely mirroring his angle, trying to get that proximity. Well, let's see him through the smoke surge forward, and he does. Coming around outer zone, but Lee Yearwood not giving it to him for free, putting the power on and moving forward. Absolutely dominant run from both these drivers. Great transition right into the pocket and pushing him around. Phenomenal job by Nick Ward on that, and Lee Yearwood did not make it easy for him, making his chase even better. With that kind of a lead run and being able to do what he just did, that's phenomenal.
Well, that's exactly what we came here to see today. And those drivers, they know what to expect out of each other, too. They're very familiar with each other, very familiar with each other's driving. That was a show. I'm already excited for the next run and get him back over there.
Just at the end, barely, like, just nothing. I think he missed 2. No, he got 2. A little bit. He got into. Did he? Almost off the touch.
Wow, Nick controlling himself so much. Watching that replay, I hope you guys were able to see what I'm able to see. Nick at the end there, literally side by side with inches, full proximity at perfect angle, and was able to control his back out just enough so that he could clear him and he straightened. I mean, phenomenal job. Phenomenal job.
Yeah, I'm ready. Drone's out there. Send it.
All right, here we are, sending him again. Excited to see Nick Ward's lead here, and obviously Lee Yearwood coming up in the BMW. Lee absolutely charging in on him. Holy cow, almost touching him through it. Coming around, getting that proximity, trying to show that angle, filling the first zone on the lead run by Nick, and the transition just enough of a brake time not to hit him, and then the charge back to get in there, filling up that space. Nick absolutely putting down a bro line for him. and Lee Yearwood is eating it up. Lee trying to do what Nick did in the back, unable to, but gosh, they were close. His beginning was insanely close, and I cannot wait to see the footage on that.
Yeah, that entry looked like he had absolutely just clung the car onto the door. He could have reached out and just hung on to Nick's car and pulled himself around the corner. Oh yeah, looked just as beautiful on the replay as it looked in real life. And Nick Ward out there, meanwhile, absolutely carving that outside zone.
Absolutely in it.
This is going to be a tough one to call. I would not want to have to be the one judging this one.
And then he kills the touch and go. Yeah, he just missed, and then he missed the 3. Yeah, actually, that's close to 3. Yeah.
2 zone was the wash.
Yeah, like 2 was Nick got the touch and go, and OZ won, and then I think he got OZ 3.
I think if you went to 2, though. Absolutely amazing driving there. Watching these replays and talking to the judges, it's phenomenal. As judges, we're impartial. We have no say or weight in any of this.
See, we're just announcers, but we can chant one more time in their ears over here. There's no
Can
rules
we?
about that.
Is that something you can do?
One more time. One more time.
So I would say it's slight. Yes, advantage. And it's only because he got the touch and go. And other two. And because Lee got 3. Lee got 3.
I haven't been to a lot of competitions, and I've never had to sit this long, but holy cow, the time that you're in there feels like years in comparison to the reality of the world, waiting to hear, am I going out again? Do I need to put tires on? Do I have time to relax, grab a Gatorade, a water, think about who I'm going up against next? You know, am I getting to move on into the top 4 situation? Do I get to fight for a podium? You know, all those things are going through their head. They're wondering, should I have done this brake check a little bit harder? Should I have gone deeper into that zone? Did I miss it? Did I make it? They're hearing from their spotters, watching the replays. I mean, that's a spot.
Yes.
All right, we have a winner. Nick Ward is moving on. Nick Ward with Taxi Garage is moving on.
A very close call. It came down to some minor things with filling zones and stuff. It's not a minor thing to fill the zone. It's very important. But they had to go apples to apples, and that was the decision that was made.
And realistically, Nick Ward just has so much more seat time in that S14 than Lee Yearwood has in that BMW. Nick Ward has gotten that S14 up to spec. He's made little tweaks over and over and over again. At first, when that car was completely built, it had a little bit of issues as far as getting grip. And then he got it dialed in and then just went taking it to a bunch of different tracks and events. So coming out here, I mean, you could just see all the calculated moves. It doesn't seem like anything that car does is on accident.
No, he's on the ball, and I mean, he's going to look at that film and probably get better the next run. You know, which is what makes you an animal, and I think Nick Ward's an animal.
And again, if that's what you like to see him do in a car, it would blow your mind to see what he could do in a crazy kart. If you have ever been interested in those Razor crazy karts, head on over to the Taxi Garage, ask about it.
Here we go, Miles Flick and Taylor Ray coming up. Miles putting it down, big old entry. Taylor taking the chance to speed in and try to get in that pocket. Not really matching the angle, but hitting a big bump in there off the line. This transition, though, is where you're going to see the vet shine and charge in on Miles. Cutting the line as much as he can, getting his proximity, and almost touching the vet against that Mustang, coming through the touch and go into the final outer zone 3 here. And wow. Miles was not making that easy for Taylor, but Taylor absolutely putting it where it needs to be.
Yeah, he showed his professionalism right there, and also he probably came with a team that can kind of help him understand a little bit more about what's going on with the grid, but he's very studious. It looked like he knew exactly what kind of car he was following, what he needed to do. He understood that if he searched too hard, it was probably going to lead to a collision. I think he did a great job leveling his decisions there in the chase position. And just a reminder, these events that we have, if you're watching on the live stream, this is not just a Pro-Am exclusive event. If you've ever wanted to come to one of these and you're like, well, I don't just want to watch, I kind of want to support a driver, it'd be cool if we could drive. These events are always a fun day and a Pro-Am competition. On the opposite side, there's 2 layouts. As you know, if you've watched US Drift Circuit before, we use 2 different layouts of this track for drifting. Whichever one we're not using is always a fun day. So you can come out, drive a little bit, then park it, take a rest, chill in the bleachers, and support your favorite Pro-Am driver.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, as much as I love driving, if my Z was a little bit more put together, I just got to replace an axle and get some other stuff. I'm trying to decide if I'm upgrading to 370Z axles or not. I would want to be out there all morning. Like, we could go, you and me, we should just go tandem out there, start our day drifting, come in with the race suits, you know, the racing shoes, you know, the whole night. I'll still wear my gloves because I don't know what to do with my hands anyways. But let's go ahead and see what these 2 put together. Taylor Ray in the lead position. Let's see what Miles sticks with him. Absolutely, giving him just enough space so he can transition. And then, oh, coming on, almost over-rotating again, sticking the power in to save it. Taylor filling in that outer zone 1. Miles trying to catch up, but the space is getting larger from Taylor. Doing a great job surging here and absolutely taking back some ground. Hitting the zone and hitting the line. Unfortunately, overcooking it into the entrance and saving it cost him in the long run there, and he just not able to get that proximity back.
Yeah, I think that unfortunately is going to be an easy call, and it really was that first corner. It clearly chopped up the Mustang. He did what he could to stay inside of it and just, like you said, threw the power down, smoke showed it out. But unfortunately, when you lose that momentum, you're just not going to get it back that quickly.
No, and I mean, going against the gripped up Corvette that I don't know if he's spinning tire or if he's just being gentle on his car, but I mean, he was running away.
Well, and Taylor Ray also has a great concept of how much wheel speed to use to actually keep good momentum, and then understands that at certain points, too much wheel speed, you're actually going slower. And a lot of drivers, they struggle with that. It's the hardest thing to learn, especially when you have a lot of power, is when to not completely gun it to the floor, because you actually create opportunity for the chase car to get right behind you. Taylor Ray is absolutely optimizing the grip from those tires with that build.
Yeah, no, I mean, both cars, absolutely beautiful. They're going to go ahead and give that to Taylor Ray moving forward. Miles, an amazing job. I hope when you watch this back, you realize how great you did. Cannot wait to see you at the next round. Taylor moving on forward, and I mean, we were saying that from the beginning. I mean, we're not over here placing bets or anything, but
I wish we could. I wish we could.
In 16 states with Formula Drift, you can now bet da-da-da-da-da.
Although for us, would it count as insider trading?
100%. 100%. No, I don't think so. We have no control. I think a judge can't bet on it. I don't know if an announcer should. Well, there it goes.
So I could be friends with all of them, and then no.
That's fine. If you're friends with them, as long as you're not there and you're fishing fast enough.
It'd be like if I was a politician, I had my husband do all my trading for me. Sorry, I said I wouldn't get political. I didn't mean that in particular or anything. I was just an example. Come on.
Hey, I follow the Nancy Cars.
Sasha rolling on up. Right now, currently, he looks to try to join Nick Ward and Taylor Ray, trying to see who he's going to face in the final bout. Sasha really trying to make sure he can go after Lewis, but Lewis is not going to make it easy, and honestly has one of the best put-together cars out here and has been a dominating force so far in this competition. Absolutely been putting that car together, put it through so much work, quite a few events this year, getting it ready for this season, and he had the goal of showing up here and dominating. So let's go ahead and see him do that. Corvette early initiation. Sasha having a hard time with it, having to double initiate because of it. Coming around, nice wide, filling the backside of the first zone, maybe not the end of it. Big charge forward, getting some space. Smoke show, all of second zone filled. Coming around, Sasha taking the angle and trying to catch him up. Hitting the touch and go. Lewis has no issue going into this third zone and absolutely holding it. Looking to make sure he doesn't go out, and he doesn't. Sasha doing his best to chase.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit of a choke from Sasha Prospero. It almost looked like he got a little bit phased by the huge Manji entry. I don't know how far over he had crossed, and I know sometimes actually in FD there's a rule about that. You cannot cross to a certain extent over that. Here at Pro-Am, I don't think we have that in place.
So with that rule, from what I understand, it's not as close as you think. It's a lot of space they would have to do it, and it'd have to be scrubbing speed as well. But again, like we talked about with this last initiation over here, you cannot impede the lead driver on their ability to initiate. That can be a manji, that can be a feint, whatever style they want to do to get in, that's how they're going to do it.
Yeah, and so it's best to just enter. Everyone wants to enter on the door. It really is best to enter at the bumper and then shift to the door later into the corner, because at any point, a feint is just another technique to get into the corner. So if that's the driver's style and it contributes to the wow factor and X factor, which they're actually being judged on, you don't want to discourage it. It might jar you around or throw you off your rhythm, but it's going to help them, and that's why it's allowed.
And we saw drivers trying different styles this morning. We actually had to move forward our starting line because it was too much speed, and how they were scrubbing speed and doing it.
But an incredible driving. Honestly, I mean, that is a driver who's very capable of getting first place in both, you know, the competition or maybe even qualifying. You know, like an incredible driver.
But then I also see what Lewis did was he lifted off before the car tried.
All right, the drivers deliberating still, looking at their replay here. They're going to go ahead and send the cars. Let's go ahead and see. Sasha in the lead position. Lewis sticking to him. Coming around. Big entrance again. Lewis with a charge in, trying to get that proximity. Doing it again. Sacrificing his angle to go ahead and get that forward charge in, but then finding the angle and sticking to him. I expect to see another charge here going into zone 2, which we see, but Sasha's not making it easy, throwing tons of angle and speed, coming around, but matching his angle into the touch and go. Lewis almost over-rotating to give him the space to move because he wants to get right into that pocket for that outer zone 3. Wow. Some technical driving.
Excellent driving, technical driving by both drivers, but unfortunately, I do think it's going to be a little too late because of that little choke up on that first run. It looked great. I know that there's the other areas where we can't see until we see the drone footage, but from here, it's looking like we might have a little bit of an advantage for the vet.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do see both sides of it, and I understand where a driver can be questioning it. So you could be saying, well, Lewis did this. He did a big manji, and he didn't power through the whole time, you know, so they could say, oh, he withheld that availability to be chased. But I really don't think that's what the case was. That's a lot of speed and a big entrance that he had. He didn't need to put power down. He needed the car to float. Once he let that car float and go, he didn't touch up on the brakes. You know, he didn't bump him up or like sandbag it or anything like that, you know, so I don't think he did anything to disrupt the follow. I think that Sasha was just too close and wasn't expecting a big manji whip.
Well, that's the nature of a well-executed feint anyways. Like if you do a really good technical, you know, textbook feint entry, then you're really hucking as much of the weight as possible to huck at the corner, and ideally you're throwing that momentum down sight, down range, towards the corner. So, you know, you can actually end up with a more of your entry speed being executed with no throttle whatsoever underneath the pretense of a feint entry. And it was a textbook one. He did a great job, and he ended up on the correct line afterwards.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's beautiful. It's different entry than we've seen from most of the day. But, you know, that's the thing. We saw both these drivers trying different things earlier today, you know, and
But if you were doing it all practice, which in his case he was, you definitely don't want to stop. You don't want to practice one way.
Looks like they just gave it to Lewis in the vet. You were right on that one. Sasha being a phenomenal driver all day. Please give both those drivers a round of applause. Sasha said he's here to party and he wants to show it.
And the lead car fellow he definitely was very late into the transition. But if Sergio had just stayed with him and followed.
What'd you say? Didn't realize my mic was on. What'd you say? All right, the drone pilot's getting in place, and we are getting ready to see this one here. So with our Final Four looking right now, Nick Ward, Taylor Ray, Lewis in the vet that we just saw. Now you're seeing Steven and Fellow going at it. Two Central Florida boys, both of them tons of seat time with each other at OSW all the time. We see Steven going in, Fellow trying to get some proximity and angle, coming around, putting on the power. Steven filling that zone all the way, squatted back, full commitment, full power, and you can see the grip forward, locking up the front tires, just trying to make it go where he wants it to. Fellow taking the opportunity to catch up in this outer zone. Clipping point coming into zone 3. Fellow initiating over early, trying to get some proximity while Steven fills the full outer third zone.
Fellow did a great job in the chase, but man, do I love watching Steven work his way around the track. He just does such a good job at keeping it smooth, keeping his throttle modulation consistent, and just stitching together every single part of the track. It looks like, looking back at the drone footage too, a great job in the areas of the track we need the drone to see, doing a good job staying wide all the time. Fellow was doing what he could to stay close. It looked like he couldn't just do it on throttle alone, though. I saw Fellow cutting a lot of the track in order to stay close, and that's definitely just a sign that Steven's car is grippier this year than it was last year. We saw Steven last year.
It's set up. I don't know if it's got the Bell Raceworks grip kit on there or they did some magic voodoo with the suspension, but that thing sits, tucks, and it just goes. And I mean, he is steering the crap out of it, and he is not lifting off. He's one of the few, him and Matt both told me when I was first starting, they're like, you need to steer with throttle, not keep going in and making all these adjustments and everything. You giving that power and letting that rear come around or come off was way better, and it's what people want to see, and it's going to make you a better driver, and he's a master at it.
Yeah, and basically what that turns you into is you're driving out of the corner, the entire corner, instead of just directing the weight and then only powering out at the end. So definitely an incredible driver. It seems like his car is even better dialed this year than it was last year. I'm excited to see what he's going to do this season.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Nick Ward and Taylor Ray is going to be an amazing battle, but we're not even done, and we've got like what feels like some of the best battles here now. Fellow in the lead with Steven trying to come in. Steven putting a charge in. Fellow putting the smoke. Steven with a second charge in. Coming in, putting the proximity down in the first zone, which you don't see a whole lot. Following his line perfectly and having a great parallel with the angle. Coming around, charging on that transition in the second zone. Absolutely not sacrificing line to do so either. Proximity and almost over-rotating because of his angle, trying to save it and come out of it. That is so unfortunate to see. But Steven was coming through, script up and moving, and Fellow decelling in the time to get ready to transition out of this touch and go, getting ready for it. Something that was brought up in the drivers' meeting, which we knew was going to happen, and something we were concerned about. You know, we just saw why that is. It choked up that thing, and it's not even in a bad way. Fellow was doing what he needed to do to transition and get in the car where it needed to go. Yeah, it just didn't have the space.
Yeah, and the real key to that is really, and I was talking about this with a couple other drivers at a couple other rounds, because we've on the same layout have moved clips around, and sometimes as a driver it's really important to pretend there's clipping points where there aren't, because this track only pinches you if you decide to negate this second curve and decide not to use all of it. If you're as wide as possible for the entire curve, then you will not get pinched. You're basically making every corner much, much wider, in this case almost twice as wide. So I'd like to see a lot more of that. It's unfortunate they got pinched like that, but at the same time, I mean, hey, it was really tough to recover, but he just went crab walked, clutch dumped it, and just powered his way through.
Yep, and they pointed to made a decision, correct? You guys made a decision on that, or are you guys still? Steven with the win in the black 240. Moving on. That's shitty that we just announced it. I think they're back over there. Yeah, they're lined up. Judges are deliberating on something here. We got some information that we're just going over and trying to clarify real quick. We'll be right back with you guys. With this weight, obviously, we do want to shout out some of our sponsors. Shift Culture, Golden Grown, obviously, out here. USDrift Circuit coming on out. We've also got OPM. We've got the Taxi Garage. All the guys out here, as well as myself, Dustin with Dustin Motors. Also, follow everybody here on Instagram, YouTube. Give them likes, subscribes, whatever. I know you hear it all the time, but it costs you nothing, and it can mean the difference for these drivers. So definitely try to support them in any way you can.
And one sponsor we didn't talk about just yet is Claim Defenders, Public Adjusting Services. As you feel the wind picking up and hurricane season just started within this week, if anything ever happens to your property and there's any wind damage, you need to go against your insurance company and you realize that you're just getting given the short rope, then the public adjusters with Claim Defenders are all car enthusiasts. They contribute to the scene, and they also go represent you. Instead of attorneys, to go get you that settlement, and they do it in half the time. Incredible job, incredible service. And you can head to theclaimdefenders.com.
Based on further review, there was a restart because the lead driver not going over in Champaign. And then it was supposed to be a restart. Like
All right, so there were lights apparently on a restart, so we have to rerun that last one. Fellow in the lead position, Steven coming around. They were told previously, I was misinformed. Gumming around, Fellow filling the outer zone. Steven with better proximity than before, coming around, just giving enough space for the transition and looking to surge in and try to put pressure back on Fellow, which he is doing. Looking at it, learning from mistakes to the last run, not making the same choke mistake as he did before on that follow, and then bringing it in on his door at the end. Steven trying to prove to these judges they didn't need it one more time.
it didn't change the result.
Steven got an absolute blessing with being able to do that, because even though he had already been given the win on a restart, I know he just wasn't happy with getting pinched over here. Now he got to do it the way he probably envisioned that chase run going.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm watching a replay, and I'm seeing some door taps, baby.
Yeah, it looks like he just used that time to get even more comfortable with Fellow, doing a great job. Fellow's an incredible driver, and he's doing everything right, but Steven he's out there and he means business.
Yep. Yep. So, for the second time, Steven in the black 240 gets the win and moves on to the top four. That means our top four, Nick Ward, Taylor Ray, Lewis Lands, and Steven Tessanero. I can't say that. I'm going to mess it up every time. Hold on. Tessanero. I can read. I swear I can kind of read. Not really. I can't read. No. No, this is a phenomenal top 4. Phenomenal. Like, you couldn't go and hand pick this kind of thing. I mean, there's phenomenal drivers that we're going to see in the future in the same position in the next couple series, obviously. But holy cow, these drivers are killing it. So we got 2 vets. We got a 240, which of course had to make a guest appearance. And then the BMW, right?
Yeah, I feel like we've hit all of our points as far as what our little food pyramid of drift cars is. We've now got like a little bit from every party over here represented in the top 4. So very excited to see this. Great drivers, great talent. We're now going into our first battle of the top 4.
Our final battles, guys. It's not our final one, but our top 4.
And meanwhile, everyone out there doing a great job supporting this all day long, hopefully keeping hydrated, keeping the sunscreen applied. It's been a hot day out here, but we finally have some wind. Unfortunately, we also have some clouds rolling in, but it's looking like we might actually get this whole competition done before any of that becomes any kind of an issue. I'd say knock on wood, but I'm standing on top of an all-aluminum trailer, so I'm just going to have to pass on that for now.
Aluminum's good to stand on, right?
Aluminium.
Aluminium. Mayonnaise is an instrument? No. All right, so coming in, Nick Ward and Taylor Ray. Super excited to see this matchup.
I personally, I'm a bit of a Nick Ward fan, so I really want to see this one in particular, especially because Nick Ward's on it today. Taylor Ray's always on it. And again, shout out to Taxi Garage. Nick Ward ultimately representing Taxi Garage are always out there traveling to tons of drift events, bringing their drift cards to a whole bunch of different events and venues just to go ahead and allow for some rentals. And now we go. Taylor Ray is going to lead. Nick Ward is going to give chase. We're looking at Taylor Ray with initiation. Both of them fainting into the first corner. A massive dramatic surge by Nick Ward as he makes his way closer to the door. He's doing a good job hanging up with that Corvette so far as they make their way through this outer zone. It looks like Taylor Ray was able to fill the whole zone. Now a little bit of a gap forming between them. Nick Ward's going to need to close that up. And we have that Corvette coming around. We're looking for them to fill these last few areas as we come into the more technical portion of the run. Nick Ward diving deep. And there he goes.
How did he hold on to that? How did he just do that? Did Nick, what the heck did I just watch?
Hey, that was a dive bomb. Yeah.
Nick Ward absolutely, just as the judge says, dive bombing in like a bomber from World War II at Sebring. Literally dropping a bomb in, somehow not crashing into him from what I could see, and then keeping it in drift.
He must have waited till just the very last moment to apply the brakes and just get himself clear out of dodge to make sure that he wouldn't be taking a hit. But as we're looking at that replay, Taylor Ray, an absolutely amazing lead run. That entire first outside zone, he saved all of it up just for this. He knows this is the top 4. It's this and one other battle if he wants to take first place, and he's going ahead and letting him all hang out right now. And we see that dive in right there.
Wow.
Giving him just a couple feet before he went ahead and let go.
It doesn't even look as bad as it was, but from here it was like the car almost like stationarily stopped. My brain had like Windows loading screen for a second.
And that's just some second nature action from him too. You can tell right away that in the car, Nick Ward went from full lock to just pulling both of his feet off, foot brake, e-brake, and then back to a clutch kick and back on gas. That's one big combination of dance moves to be pulling in the cockpit of a drift car, and he's doing it flawlessly like an extension of his body.
And it comes from the experience you talked about. He's knowing that car. That's what got him to this point in this competition so far. And I mean, you see Taylor Ray missing the outside zone for quite a bit, only grabbing the last little section of that first zone. That's going to be held against him, obviously. Looks like he got all of second zone here based off the cones coming through. Nick trying to get that proximity cut in the line as best he can, but keeping angle and proximity is best. With that transition and dive bomb in, purely just misreading the situation. That's the second time we've seen that, but instead of it affecting it, he kept it together.
And it looks like it was those 2 zones like you had just talked about. It was this first zone, he had a little bit of room for improvement, and then it was actually this very last zone where he didn't get all the way out wide very quickly. Yep. And what we've seen out of Nick Ward earlier on in this competition is absolutely nailing on those zones.
Absolutely. With him in the lead position, Taylor Ray following. Big e-brake pull. Taylor Ray pushing in, trying to get the same proximity Nick had coming through. Looks like he's doing it. Nick, I think, filling the outer zone, though, the whole way around. Taylor pushing him around, though, on the transition, looking to surge in, barely giving him room to move, filling in that outer zone, but coming in on his door. Taylor Ray looking to get him through the touch and go. Coming around through the touch and go, transitioning into zone 3, Not much of a dive bomb, but getting on that rear tire, putting as much proximity as he can. Nick Ward showing up and putting the grip down and somehow figuring out how to outrun what seems to be the fastest car on the circuit.
These guys are absolutely putting on a clinic, and Nick Ward did exactly what I expected him to do. I knew that Nick Ward has had no issues filling out all the zones, and he made sure that he hooked that rear bumper on that white paint line out there on zone 1 and just followed it and grinded it all the way around the track. So lead for lead, it looks like Nick Ward was doing a better job, but both of these guys are masterclass chase drivers, and they did exactly that.
They both killed it.
Now, this one's going to be...
I think the big difference is going to be coming from that first zone, which I'm seeing right now. Nick absolutely crushed. Was in it from start to finish on second, literally going there fast, being pushed by Taylor's proximity, still finding the touch and go, coming around, and now outer zone, he's missing a little bit out of it. Well, not a little bit, missed almost the whole zone. And that's something both drivers did. So when it comes down to it, it looks like zone 3 could be a wash. Yeah. The decision could be purely made off of zone 1, and that's where it comes down to. With these type of drivers at this level, it comes down to the basics. You need to fill your zones, need to have your line, need to have your proximity. Both of them killed on proximity in this chase.
Yeah, that proximity alone is almost a wash.
To the lead run.
Yeah, proximity alone is almost a wash all on its own, and we saw just kind of a little bit of different strategy as far as how they got that proximity. We saw Nick Ward would kind of reel him in, hold there, let him back, reel him in again. We saw a little bit more consistency on the spacing from Taylor Ray, but I could see this one going either way. I think it'd be, there's arguments for both sides. Hopefully both these drivers are going to be in good spirit, whether it goes one more time or with either driver.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is definitely a hard one on the judges. They're still deliberating here. We're not just eating up airtime for funsies, you know, but wow, what a run. You know, I'm excited to see either one of them move on into the final position. They both deserve it.
Yeah, and especially with Nick Ward being out here a Florida local, he's got a little bit more experience on this track in particular. So with the familiarity of not just the car, but the track.
Taylor's a local as well.
Yeah, with this one, I just know for a fact that when USDrift Circuit does a lot of their fun days, you can almost guarantee Nick Ward attends a ton of these fun days. So when it comes to knowing not just the car but the track
itself.
Yeah, like the familiar, like for example that bump that's out there. You know, if you're out here, you're just trying to navigate that bump and it's your first time out here, then you're still trying to predict when you're going to hit it. Whereas the guys that have come here, it's like a musical note that comes at a certain tempo. They know exactly when that bump's going to hit. They anticipate it and
they know how to handle the car. They've got a lot of stuff going for them. Yeah,
exactly.
No, I feel it. Both of them feeling like they're in the hot seat. Both of them feeling good about their runs, knowing that there's little things they could have changed. They're hearing the mics probably from their spotters. I mean, we are all on pins and needles waiting to hear the deliberation. I have no idea. I'm waiting for the point. And it looks like Nick. Was it Nick with the win there?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick does get the win. I'm just making sure. Nick Ward moving forward, defeating Taylor Ray. An absolute amazing battle. And I mean, I think it's going to come down to how that zone A was filled, and that's insane.
Yeah, that was an incredible performance by Nick Ward, an awesome victory for a Taxi Garage. Just as a team, I mean, they really didn't do any participation in the USDrift Circuit Pro-Am Series last year. They spent most of last year just attending to other events. And Nick Ward, as he's gotten more confident, I'm sure, has been wanting to know where he stacks up against the rest. And he might be attending a lot of other events, but he's getting a firm answer on that when he comes to these events. And right now, he is putting out results.
Absolutely. I see the Taxi Garage out there on all the little Razor scooters bombing down the hill on the pink Razor scooter. I need one of those. But no, I mean, phenomenal. And now we absolutely get to see this next battle of Lewis Lance and Steven. I can't tell you how excited I am to see this. You know, Steven has been at the track almost every event that I've gotten to go see. Took a little hiatus to work on his car and stuff, missed maybe a couple events, did tons of private days. He's been working his butt off. Multiple time, I think, King of OSW winner. I don't know if he's gotten it twice. I think he has. And then Lewis coming in and absolutely dominating with this car that he has gone over with. I mean, he picked up the car with the motor and everything already in there, already built. He did some things to make it work out, got the new intake on it, and now a full carbon Kevlar body, been showing up, putting the work in, and you can see it's paying off.
Yeah, and I think what we're starting to see too is there's a lot of drivers out here that have a car that's capable, and they're obviously very good drivers, but there's this whole other tier of skill set that we're seeing as we get closer to our finals. And if these are going to be repeat visitors of the series, we might see the same trend as last year, where we have a certain amount of drivers that you almost always expect to see at the top of that bracket.
All right, well, here we go. should be Lewis in the lead, Steven in the follow. Coming on up, both of them fast and gripped up, both transitioning on a dime. Steven holding it wide so that Lewis has space to come around. Lewis going into the outer zone 1, holding it down. Steven still figuring it out, coming in, trying to get off this transition to make up that gap that he got from the beginning, dragging his front wheels, trying to get that grip to push him forward. Lewis coming into the touch and go, coming around for the outer zone 3. Steven looking to dive in and get some proximity to show the judges he should be here. And what a job Steven had for him. That entrance, definitely messed with Steven coming in. Definitely a big entrance, 2 very gripped up cars. Yeah, I'm wanting to see the fly. Yeah. They're reviewing the FPV footage here, trying to just get their best notes down, trying to see where they can give the points in the zones and everything, and just trying to make sure that their deliberation is correct, allowing them to go ahead and fully focus on this next run. With that being said, I hope you guys have had an absolutely amazing time with this. We are not near done, but we are getting close. We know that we are going to see Nick Ward in the final. Who's excited to see Nick Ward compete for this win? You guys have all the energy. The sun has definitely not taken it away from you guys. All right, a thumbs up from the driver, for the judges here to send those drivers. Here we go. Steven in the lead. Nice early initiation coming around. Lewis coming in with the vet. Lights on. Steven's putting it in. Nice in this outer zone. Taking all of it in. Putting the smoke down. Getting a little run in. The vet filling that space and charging in. Coming around in the outer zone too. Steven taking all of the track he can to put into this outer zone. Big transition here. Coming into outer zone 3. And a good charge by the vet. Steven put the work in. Put the line down that he could. And the vet followed.
That was an absolutely excellent chase run. I mean, he was absolutely gripped up. He stayed in the pocket the entire time. And you can see here, Steven making it a little bit easier in the fact that Steven had an awesome lead run filling that full outside first zone. I mean, if you have, like we were talking about this earlier, you said that it takes a good lead run to allow opportunity for a great chase run, but he was absolutely executing, and he had a shadow right behind him.
Absolutely. And a almost like not similar, but similar styled entry there where both of them took quite a bit of space to throw out that rear and manji or feint in, you know. I mean, definitely something that the drone's going to be crucial for. With that being said, the person that moves forward will be going into the final, and the person that does not get that win will be going against Taylor Ray competing for third place. It's going to be a one more time call. How do you guys feel about that? You guys want to see one more time? Absolutely. Some amazing drivers here. Too close to call. And honestly, when it's that way with this kind of a competition, especially with these two drivers, the way that they've been going at it, you know, it's the right call. With that being said, I do believe, I don't know if they're going to go back for tires or not, but I do believe they will have the opportunity if they want to. All right, guys, so here's a word from our sponsors.
Instagram, YouTube,
Station.
Instagram, YouTube,
Station.
Instagram, YouTube,
Station.
Instagram, YouTube,
Station.
competition.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Nico Christides, the owner of Golden Grown, and my CBD is 100% organic. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Grown's Bacon Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB pizza. Hey, how you doing? I'm Nico Christides, the owner of Golden Grown. I started a hemp farm in Sierra Valley, California for my autistic daughter, Elena, and my CBD is 100% organic. The difference between THC and CBD is CBD is
Where are the drivers?
THC is mind altering. That's not what Golden Grown sells an experience of organic. One of our best sellers is a CBD.
If you do have a canopy or have something that could blow away, please go ahead and secure that. Please go ahead and secure your canopies and such. We do not need more air debris, something possibly going on the track.
I wouldn't sell something to you that I wouldn't personally have in my own home. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Grown Bacon. I don't see any life only original home of CB Pizza.
All right, and we're live, and welcome back to historic Sebring Raceway, where the winds are coming our way and our drivers are about to pull up so we can do our one more time battle here.
Yep, welcome back, and I appreciate if you've been with us. If you're just now joining us by any chance, we've had an awesome jam-packed day. We've got through our top 32 and top 16 pretty quickly with our one more battle left to determine what our finals are going to be and to shape up what our third place battle is going to be. And we have a little bit of clouds that are starting to move in now, so we're trying to get things done as quickly as possible. We're going to try and deliberate, get the action through, and hopefully be done with this pretty soon. But the drivers are getting ready. Dustin, I'd say I'm pretty happy with how the event's gone so far. What about you?
Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. I mean, it's I know the names of the people that made it in the top 8. I know all of them. I've seen all of them in driving. These aren't brand new faces to it. Not saying that's a bad thing. It's just great to see, you know. And I mean, to see these cars progress and be built, and like Taylor Ray's documented that whole system. We've got Steven that's been doing it for a couple years now. Fellow, which has been working on his car and changing it for what, 10.5 years, 11 years, maybe longer. I mean, it feels like we've got some real OGs, legends out here, and it's amazing to see.
Well, and these guys are also so accessible. I mean, you can go to events and just walk right up to these guys. They're not pros yet. They're on their way. And what's really cool is that by being a part of the journey and watching this series, you can get to say that you're seeing these drivers develop, because some of them might be future Formula Drift champions. That is why they're all here ultimately, is to get one step closer to their Pro 1 license and becoming a world-class driver. And it all starts here. All right, so it looks like the track is ready.
They're in the burnout box, getting those tires hot and ready, like Cece's Pizza. At least it made you laugh. Little Caesars,
Oh, Little
CC's
Caesars is
Pizza.
hot and ready.
Yeah, well, you know, dyslexia, I guess. I don't know.
CC's Pizza is more like cold and maybe. Like, do I want a bite of that? I don't really know. Maybe.
Well, I mean, it's been sitting on a hot plate for how long, you know?
It's sitting, but still ready.
Oh, it's been ready. That's the problem.
Little Caesar's whole marketing is hot and ready. Is it good? No, but it's hot and ready.
Bing, 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 bing.
And it's ready. It's good usually when it's still hot. That's the thing.
All right. Lewis and Steven getting ready.
They like literally like if it's been sitting in their case for more than like I think 15,
Who takes the lead on this one?
This is cardboard at that point anyways.
Never mind. Lewis in the lead, Steven in the follow. Let's see. Coming around, big flick. Steven charging in. On it, coming around. Lewis putting in that outer zone, trying to fill all of it up. Looks like he's doing it. Steven coming in, putting the power on this transition. We're going to hopefully see a surge, and we do. Coming around, filling that outer zone too. Steven putting as much angle in as he can. Hopping in front of the car. Gripped up, ready to go. Almost stopping him. The vet throwing some angle at Steven, not letting it stop him and putting it around.
We also have a problem. The drone is black screen. Yep.
We have some contact there at the end, possibly with the back and front of Steven's car. I saw some cones go up. You know, what did you see?
Yeah, a lot of mayhem there. Both of them being able to match each other's sauce on that first corner. We got to see a lot more of an immediate start to that tandem that started right there at the beginning of turn one. Steven's doing an impressive job this entire run. I'm extremely excited about how his performance has been this competition. And watching over the drone footage, it looks like also Luis doing an awesome job at keeping his job all the way to the keeping his car all the way to the outside zone. This is the one we can't see without the help of the drone footage. And with this heavier wind that's picking up, luckily drones are a lot stronger these days. We can get it out there, battle the winds, and still stay with these cars.
Yeah, unfortunately, trying to see how this contact worked. I'm not quite sure if it was a lead that straightened and Steven was still an angle, and so he straightened and pushed into him. Not quite sure. Looks like we also have a hat that's flown. Has anybody had a hat fly off of them? Well, it looks like we found the owner. That was quick.
CBD is 100% organic. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Groans Bacon Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza.
We're still live. Okay, so some new news. Never mind, it's on commercial. If I'm ruining the commercial, I'm sorry.
I started a hemp farm in Sierra Valley, California for my autistic daughter, Elena, and my CBD is 100% organic. The difference between THC and CBD is all natural. It's 100% organic. THC is mind-altering. That's not what Golden Grown sells. Golden Grown sells an experience of an organic, natural supplement to make you relax. One of our best sellers is a CBD oil strip. It is absolutely amazing. 100% organic, FDA approved. You take a strip out, you put it on your tongue, it dissolves in your mouth, and it's total relaxation, stress reliever in about 20 minutes. I wouldn't sell something to you that I wouldn't personally have in my own home. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Groans Bacon Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza.
All right, here we go. Both cars lined up. We have Lewis and Steven ready to go. How do we have no signal to the drone? Hey guys, we got no signal to the drone. I didn't know if they heard you. They heard me. Okay. I didn't see the guy moving. I just saw the guy too. Well, he's like in a drone or something. His assistant who's been putting drone. Are we live yet? All right, perfect. So we're back. Here we are. We've got the wind moving us. We're trying to get our drone footage up here. Both drivers are now ready. We had a 5-minute call called by Lewis from Contact. What do you think about the contact that we saw?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it a little bit with the judges up here, and that the contact sounds like it happened kind of right there at the finish line. And that's a real tough call, because usually what we're looking for contact to be any kind of malice is when it actually messes up a driver's drift. So coming across the finish line, it's really more like an inconvenience. It doesn't sound like it's really pulling away from it. But of course, he's still entitled to his 5 minutes if he wants to go ahead and check out his car. And if it's usually it's even more time if you know that there's fault being put on it. So
Right.
Hopefully everything's okay. He's been driving awesome. I don't think the contact looked that bad.
No, it looked like it took off Steven's bumper, and that was about it.
But it's a good thing to do. Like, you go back if you know you got hit, because you don't know until you get out of the car, and it's some peace of mind you're going to need on that next battle.
Yep. Well, it looks like we're about to fly away at this point, so I'm ready to get flying on these matches. Let's go ahead and...
Was this always like this? Ah, okay. Oh, it might be that wire. Yeah, because when it went out, it
Hey, they're sending the battle.
and then it went out. Yeah, we're gonna send the battle. Yeah, we're just gonna have to run it. Just have
All right, so the judges are going to be judging by this. The drone can fly in the wind, but something's happened with the connection. They're not communicating, so we are going to do this the old-fashioned way with our eyebulbs. Our eyebulbs or eyeballs? What did I say?
The old faithfuls.
The old faithfuls. Here we go. Steven in the lead position. Lewis right next to him. Steven, big early initiation coming around. Nice handbrake grab coming through. Lewis on the back of him, trying to get in there. Steven trying to make sure he fills that whole first outer zone, going over the bump. Lewis right on his door, looking for this transition. We're going to be looking for a surge. He does. Steven filling that whole outer zone. Lewis taking the advantage and getting his proximity, getting the touch and go. Both of them absolutely killing it. Good transition by Lewis, making sure he's putting the work in for the judges to compare a lead versus a lead and a run versus a run.
That was a great
Chase.
run, and that right there should be shaping up. I believe it's the last battle of our final 4. So we're gonna move our way through this. There's been a lot of like hold-ups and stuff like that
Yep.
with the contact going on. But as soon as we get a winner here,
The winner's going to be going against Nick Ward, and we don't even need a third-place battle because...
why is that?
Well, so Taylor Ray, he doesn't have a season pass for this event. So he doesn't want to take points away from somebody that does, meaning whoever is the loser of this round gets third place, and they're on the podium.
And that's an awesome feeling and an awesome thing to see in the community. I mean, this is a great opportunity to go ahead and see what you're worth. But if you're not actually going for your license, for other people that are here, they are going to be trying to make every single round count and going to be just fighting to get one step closer to. So to be here and kind of know that that's not really what your goal is, and you just
Right.
really wanted the competition experience, an absolutely respectable thing. I commend
Looks
him
like
for
the
doing
call.
that.
Lewis gets the win. Steven gets third place. Lewis is going to be moving forward into the final battle here, going against Nick Ward to go for first and second. I am so excited for these guys. Both of them well-deserved. An amazing job. Great job, Steven.
This is going to be an absolutely awesome last battle, and both of these drivers have been putting it down with full consistency every single day. I think if I were to go through that top 16 and guess, I would have been pretty close to say Nick Ward and Luis.
Yeah, great job by the drivers here. Holy cow. Definitely showing up. Love to see the community out here. Looks like Pat, Gooden, and Bell, as well as everybody else out there. Love you guys. I'll see you guys in the pits, hopefully, before you guys head out. Oh, my gosh. This thing almost shut on my foot.
Watch your feet.
I barely pulled it out in time.
We're gonna die, man. Dude, you're what I
There was no innuendo, I swear.
I thought it had a pole.
Dude, I don't know, but it's stressing me out. Actually, I'll just leave it closed. Leave this now. Yeah. I'm on that page. I'm with you. You know what? I like the way we think.
All right, so now
Great job, guys.
We are literally just waiting for one more battle, but of course, because of the fact that Lewis has just ran, he needs to be able to go back and have the opportunity to change his tires. So once he does that and gets back out there, Nick Ward is already ready. His car should be prepped by now to get out there. We have one more run today. Guys, thank you so much for everyone being so quick and so cooperative about getting everything done. But between both the drivers and the teams, everyone has done such a good job at making this event happen within the time span it needed to take place. All of these people were really worried about the weather, including myself. Everyone who helps run this event was really worried today wouldn't even be able to happen. The weather's just now getting here. If we can get one more battle in, we've done it, we've made it, and officially completed round 1 of USDrift Circuit Formula Drift ProAM Series 2023.
because it's not enough of a chicane. First off, it's too far out. It's way too far out. It's way too far out. This is more run up than they get at OSSW. Yeah.
Well, that's what's leading everybody to enter so damn early because they can get to one back there.
Yeah. And they're drag racing, so they need to go ahead and have the speed, and they got to figure out how to scrub across it.
If we run this again, then
I agree with him like 100 feet back. It's like
Thanks. Yeah, no, that's what I was saying all morning. I was like, I want. I know.
We did that at USDrift circuit too. We did our practice, and their runs were like that, and we're like, you get kicked the fuck.
But even with the
Super excited to have Nick Ward and Lewis Lands moving forward. Who are you guys thinking? I want to hear the crowd. Who do you guys think is going to walk away with this? Do you guys need to repeat the names again? Nick and Lewis. Who do you guys think? Nick, if you think Nick's going to win, make some noise. If you guys think Lewis is going to win, make some noise. Okay. Pretty divided there. I mean, it seems like a little bit more on the Lewis side, but everybody seems excited. Hi, Bumby.
What about in general? We got any Taxi Garage fans out there? Anyone just a big fan of Taxi Garage?
Everybody
I hope
likes
it's everybody.
This. Literally in the chat, yes.
Everybody loves Taxi
Everybody
Garage.
loves this.
Planet Earth likes this.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Nico Christides, the owner of Golden Grown, and my CBD is 100% organic. Stay tuned for our newest Golden Grown's Bacon Blaze. We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza. the owner of Golden Grown. I started a hemp farm in Sierra Valley, California for my autistic daughter, Elena, and my CBD is 100% organic. The difference between THC and CBD is...
Make some noise! Woo! I see the little one clapping. I see tons of fans out here. I love to see it. Cannot wait to see more people out here at the next couple ones. I know the rain deterred a lot of people. I know people were very busy. These next couple battles, hopefully we'll get to see you guys soon.
I just felt the drop. Literally just felt the drop on my arm.
All right. Let's get rowdy.
He's showing me all these graphs and shit. Yeah, fucking Kevin Wells, literally real MVP when it came to the fucking D-cell shit because
oh my goodness, that sounds like a lot of work. Well, we've got Nick Ward and Lewis Lands coming in for our final battle. We've got what powered is it again? I know what the Corvette's got. It's LS obviously, but what's going on with the
It's an
powered?
LS versus LS.
It is
battle.
LS versus LS. I
Yep.
just wanted to make sure. You are the expert on the Nick side of things right
No,
now.
Nick Ward has always been an LS guru. He's also worked for Redline. Here we go. This is your final battle, guys. We have Lewis
battle,
in the
everybody.
lead. Nick Ward going to give chase. The weather's changing, but the battles are just getting started with the finals. And here we go. Nick Ward with a good surge, trying to get the best proximity he can, knowing this is his last chance to secure himself for first place today. Everyone's got to leave it on the line. We have the Corvette pulling up. Nick Ward doing the best he can to surge. Reeling it in, getting that gap nice and close to the outside zone.
Oh,
Contact!
no! He threw so much angle and it choked him up, and there was no room for Nick to go anywhere. It slowed him down.
Guys, that is a really tough collision, and from where we're sitting, Nick Ward's car has taken extensive damage. I don't think there's anything that a 5-minute timeout would do
Well,
to
we'll
get that
see.
car running again.
Where's the replay on this? Well, it looks like both drivers are okay. From what I'm seeing, the marshals are out there. Nick going to check on Lewis here. Looking like Lewis the Corvette is able to drive off under his own power. I'm looking at the rear wheel of the, no. Nick's car is, Hey guys, so if you're on the live stream, we are deliberating over here. I am so sorry there's not an explanation yet that I can give you. The judges are deliberating. We are lining up the cars though because unfortunately Nick's car is not going to be able to get fixed in a 5-minute time. So the judges are deliberating to figure out the answer. Again, I do apologize for the delay on that information. I am just making sure that my source of information is correct to make sure I don't misinform you guys. I'm going to go ahead and head down there and hang out with the drivers for a second. And I will get you guys some news on who is going to take the first championship here. I'm going to go down there real quick and knock this out, okay, before the storms come in. All right, guys, how was that? How did you guys enjoy the event so far? Yeah, buddy. All right, let me get my little trot over.
We are the first and only original home of CB Pizza.
Everybody, I know they're tearing down. Normally we have champagne and trophies to go through, and I apologize those aren't there. I'm glad to announce that you're in 3rd place, buddy. Big congratulations to you, Steven. Absolutely phenomenal job. I wanted to take the time and make sure I announced that because it was hard fought, and this guy works his ass off to be here. Dang it, I cursed. I'm allowed 1. There it is. All right, the big question right now, we've got 2 phenomenal drivers here that fought through the whole grid to get here. Who do you guys think got the win? Do you guys think it's going to be the Corvette? Do you guys think it's going to be the Nissan? Yeah, I hear noises. The winner is going to be Nick with the 240. Lewis with 2nd place, an absolutely dominating performance. Both of you guys doing an absolutely great job. Super pumped for the Taxi Garage team here. Super pumped for all the fans that were able to come out and see us. We are so sorry to be wrapping up this shortly, but unfortunately we are being told there is lightning in the vicinity and we need to close down the track. I super apologize. We will see if we have any celebrations available to you guys. I just have to confirm it with the track workers. Absolutely, everybody, please drive home safe. Thank you guys for making the trip out here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all of our sponsors again, Golden Grown, USDrift Circuit, OPM, Claim Defense, Kenda, Shift Culture, everybody that came out here. Sorry for anybody I missed, and it was me, Dustin with Dustin Motors, that was on the mic, as well as everybody else behind the scenes that helped with this. Thank you so much for being a part of drifting. Without every single one of you, we could not have what we have today.